accepted the Doom's invitation and traveled to the spot in the Feywilds where we were told to go. Our guide was none other than Vavada, Hirandor's adoptive mother. The ex-Red Talon had undergone a change, but the one Hirandor had hoped for. She had accepted the influence of the Fae and that of the Doom, and adopted the weird blue crystalline appearance that we see over there in the corner. Her initial joy at seeing Hirandor was quickly dashed by his indifference and obvious distrust. Then she guided us through into the Fae, through like a maze of Feywilds. The Fae was all colourful, sweet, sour smells. The sky was a sheet of pure purple colour, and it was just a mad mirrored version of the real world. And while the Feywilds had changed very little, the mountains to the west were now enormous vines, slowly rising in a roughly mountain-shaped bush. The Jewel Sands were no longer a sandy desert, but a slowly undulating sheet of obsidian black rock. The Doom's prison was exactly as described by Erasmus, yet exactly the opposite of what you expected. Your arrival was met with confusion, yet Vavada, who admitted to being connected to the Doom, was not challenged. By the Doom's own words, the prison only held it because it wanted to stay. To recapture, recuperate, and scheme. It explained that it had made a deal with Ornophilia within it. It would oppose the incoming darkness to the best of its abilities, doing whatever it takes, and save the Isles, in exchange for the freedom to act as it pleased after they were safe. Ornophilia would give up her resistance, and the Doom would finally be unleashed without restraints. And in this case, whatever it takes included recruiting other would-be defenders of the Isles. Suffice to say that the Doom's arguments were not convincing, not to us at least. And we weren't going for it. We weren't gonna cooperate with the Doom. And the ley line infused shield surrounding the Doom's basin did not hold very long, like a round or two. But under our relentless onslaughts, every manifestation of its power was struck down quickly until it was drained, reverting it to its ooze-like state of rest. Unperturbed, oh, that's a great word, Chief. It continued threatening the party as it went down. Others have come this far in a day. It would rise again. We won the battle, but how could we win against something that could not be destroyed by any mortal? But I believe Graham had a plan.
Yes. Also, note to myself, if I give someone notes, make sure they aren't actually sentences, because then the person is just going to read everything out.
Yeah, I was.
I think I read a couple of things. I remembered a lot.
And then I skipped a lot of things. And of course, everything was in the GM's point of view. So I had to convert bits into player point of view. It was an interesting thing to do.
I think it was a good summary.
Well, I'm glad
Thank you, Halldamir.
that your notes helped me so much.
Before we get started for real, are there any questions? It has been a long time. Is there anything uncertain, unclear?
How to 13th age?
How to 13th age? Well,
what character's mine?
Well, this one, I think.
Which one? What?
The dragon?
Just pick one and see your complaints.
Escalation dice?
I'll be crumbling skeleton.
Yeah. The escalation die is now PC.
I'll be this really big red dragon.
It's a bit of a promotion. So now we will have a gram of 6.
Gram of 6.
Which means you get a 6 to all of your attacks, of course.
But yeah, we'll pick up right where we left. Not long after what happened last session, even though it was literally forever since we last played. The Doom lies before and sort of around you in its oozy-like ooze. And well, you're the people spectating you, specifically the man who has assisted you with all his significant might in the battle, as well as Vervada watching from some distance away, are still here and do seem to be rather eager to see what you're going to do next. Other people have gotten this far. In the initial assault on Sterling Hold, the Doom did go down and people rejoiced, but that did not last long. I'll, open the curtains. It's on you.
Well, given that Graham was the one who had a plan, this entire time he had a plan, as it turns out. Enriken, as we paused last time, Enriken standing here with the scythe tightly held in his hand, saying, "I can do it. A cut in the dimensions will do it."
Yep, it will.
Shake his head and say, "No, friend. This one is mine." She'll give him a slight smile and says, he sort of holds up the sword and says, "I might have lost 2 swords rather than the prospect of one today. Do you remember the ship we sailed on to the island where Hirando swallowed the Doom? Tell me you remember it."
Enriken nods and says, "Yes, it is quite vivid in my mind."
"Just take us there, please."
Looks at him, looks at the collected goop.
Idling is like full of him.
Yeah. And then he nods and says, "I certainly hope you know what you're doing, old friend."
Smiling says, just doesn't say anything.
Yeah. Then, if that's the case, Enriken would have gathered everyone up and cast the Gate of Eternity.
What does that look like?
It's
before you
teleportation.
do that, or rather, as you weave the incantations and whatnot, the man standing. The man turns into a dog and starts barking.
Surprising.
The man standing sort of behind Talia sort of gets into action, saying, "Wait, please, Talia, could you? We need to talk." He slowly approaches.
There's not much time, you realize, right now.
Yes, but just there's something you have to know. What you just did there was rather spectacular, but whatever your plans now are, you're right, you have no time to waste. But there's just something. Once you have some time, there's a place you should visit. It will take too long to explain, so just listen. Northwest of here, past the Riving Mountains you can see in the distance, is a lake, the Azure Lake. In it is an island. There's a village there, perhaps the only village in the entirety of the Fae, but don't go there. Instead, go to the southeastern shore. You can't miss the place. Now, hurry and do what you have to. Make this meeting mean something. Make what you did here mean something.
Oh, I will. Well, kind of looks over at her companions. Well, we will.
Good luck.
Talia nods slightly, looking over at Enriken and joining the circle.
Well, I would ask here, Ship. I did, I'm not sure exactly in what order resting and stuff happened, but at the end of the previous session, I would cast the teleportation spell. we have rested. Do I now expend the teleportation spell I got back from the rest, or do I keep it?
Let's use whatever order is more beneficial to you.
All right, then I'll keep it.
But after this point, this is where your full rest has happened.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Man, I feel pretty good after feeding Doom.
Yeah, no.
I can take another one.
Perked up. It's like, oh. But then, yes, Anakin will gather people close. Everyone hold hands, basically, and he will teleport using the level 9 wizard spell, now called the Gate of Eternity, to transport people to the island in the mist.
No, to the ship, hopefully.
The ship of the island in the mist?
Yeah, we can't put
The island is
we
gone.
can't teleport to the island because it's in the mist. Because the mist messes with it. But we can teleport to a boat that's just near the mist.
Oh, sure, it's the same boat.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Well, you have to know it, too.
Yeah, I know the boat.
Yeah,
I
that was the
we
idea.
fought
Yeah.
like a kraken on it.
It's true.
Kraken boat.
Kraken boat.
Very
Like a boat.
remarkable boat.
Yes. Sure. To the boat!
All right, you weave the incantations, quickly realizing that teleporting is one thing. Teleporting through the worlds into a different plane is quite the different challenge. I would like you to roll me a magical skill check.
Can I expend a bronze scale to skip this?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
In that
you
case,
can.
I will do so. Using that as the catalyst of world traveling, riding on the on the shoulder of the great copper, as we swoop through everything.
Actually, it was a scale from his tail. It's very uncomfortable.
I imagine when Enrikin does the Gate of Eternity, he actually rips, like, isn't it like a tear in reality
is.
we walk through?
It
too?
is. Yeah.
So,
Is
like,
it-
I imagine we walk through, like, tiny bits of other realities.
Mm-hmm.
Going, like, there's, like, a Roman city burning. We, like,
Yep.
just, like, for a split second see, and then,
Like
like, into, like, an
Pompeii?
Aztec-style
Yep.
lizard men, like, screaming.
Oh
and,
yes.
and, you know, just all these things. And then, like, you know, you see, like, a clip of, like, some art dude in, like, France who's looking at a painting with, like, Enrikin and the parties in the very background.
Yep. Exactly. As we walk through the
And then,
realities.
I imagine it
The
looks like a
others.
death gate. From
it's like,
Fallout.
don't look at anything.
Exactly. Whatever you do, do not follow any lights. Stick close to me. You know. And
Don't
then
listen to the sounds.
We are from the path, and you will forever be lost.
and we will go down like a corridor with like 1,000 doors in it, and then I will go to one of them and be like, yes, this one, and we will go through.
Each of us hearing something unique to us behind
Yes.
some door. Like,
Yeah, behind the
is that
door.
my
I'm
mother's
like, "Oh."
name?
I could go back and none of this would have happened, and Anakin will like put his hand on your shoulder and be like, no, friend.
Don't. Fate is fickle.
Exactly. The repercussions will be insurmountable.
Everything looks like it does like Lord of the Rings when Frodo has the ring on. It was like,
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like, that windy, misty.
The wraith kind of.
both Enric and Graham have their true forms in this
Mhm.
like gaunt, skeletal faces.
And so, after a cacophony of realities, your boots hit wood. Copy your tokens.
Got me right, little link.
Oh, yeah,
Copied.
copied.
A little close.
All right, we are going to the world map.
Oh, hang on.
Why do I tell you this? I'll just...
No,
Oh,
I forgot my skeleton.
Oh God!
Oh, you get to have one now.
No, I just need to save him. So don't delete him, please.
I'm sorry. He's been lost between
And
worlds now.
so died the Oracle.
Two
Yeah.
deckhands were lost in the tragedy.
There we go. The skeleton is saved.
Ugh,
hopefully.
deckhands on my feet.
It is
Cool.
fortunately a very
Okay.
sturdy boat. And the deck
Yeah,
hands
we're
know
like
better
here
than to
and lads
stand
on
in
it, the
middle of
boat
a
like.
ritual.
And to him, it's basically a huge surfboard. at this
It's a
point.
giant surf. Oh my God! Oh no, Dark.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have them preloaded.
Oh
like
yeah, the world map has a lot of shit on it at this point. Sorry.
I usually keep all my shit in like the resource library folders where I can then pull it out when I need it.
I did that for like the first 2 sessions, and then I didn't.
Yeah.
And you're like, whatever, screw
I
that.
tried that for like half a session and gave up.
I can clean it up a bit, maybe make it quicker for you.
No, you
When
fools.
you said you copy your tokens, I had literally just finished loading the previous map when you said copy your tokens.
It's like, oh,
Pretty much.
dude, talking about some island, South Island. We should visit the Fey village there.
Don't visit the Fey village. I think that was the thing he said.
He said we should.
He said don't visit the Fey village, but however go to the southeastern, I think it was coastline.
Yes.
So
Central.
Sheep, I want to ask, if Hirandor like dug his claws in and opened his wings, like if he faced like this direction, opened his wings, would he in fact be a living sail for this thing?
I mean, if he would like to try that, he probably could, but right now the boat is quite stationary and probably intended to stay stationary for the moment.
I'm just thinking because Larian gave me the idea in chat.
Yes, I should now turn Hirandor permanently into a sail for the ship.
It's a shame silvers aren't amphibious, because you can pull it along.
While DDS is loading, I can at least describe the situation. The boat you land on is indeed familiar, the same sturdy and sleek construction that has brought you in and out of the mists with relative success last time. It is, however, no longer captained by the quirky, I believe he was a gnome, although I might be lying, but instead by the Oracle herself. Let me actually reveal the people on the boat here.
Oh God!
And her entourage. It is currently, with its sails lowered, slowly drifting near the edge of a massive front of fog, undoubtedly the mists. Looking east, you can see the shoreline of the island, but only barely. You are as close to the mist as you can get without being truly in it. Other than, of course, Jormungr and the Oracle's 2 Gold Dragon companions, there's one other familiar face, or at least some of you, which is Amaranth, glowering at you slightly with some, disdain to say the least, but she's certainly keeping her opinions to herself and content to simply sit in one of the corners in the boat. How's it going, DDS?
Not the fastest, given I'm currently at 30 of 101.
Well, that's something.
It's progress.
So now we change to a different map.
No, we'll stay on this map for a while.
Let's play the loading game.
We'll walk forward to the Oracle with the sword he has. Like Edeling having all the jars. I guess we're just like putting them down, like because we probably can't easily hold that many.
Yeah, it's you would be carrying a lot of stuff.
How's the reaction when we just appear, like out of the screaming hell portal that Enrique has made?
Well, the crew of the ship looks like it has been told what to expect, but can't quite deal with the fact that it actually happened. They do seem to try to just busy themselves with menial tasks on the ship here, just running around coiling rope and uncoiling and coiling it again just to have something to do, while sort of standing inconspicuously to the side, but clearly curious about what this is all about.
I mean,
the Oracle's entourage and herself, not surprised in the least. As you land, Jormungr does look at the boat itself with some suspicion as it waves and wavers a little bit, but he seems quite happy to see, all of you, and of course Hirandor.
yeah, as the last of us, steps out of the screaming, like it's the ghastly portal. Enrikin will like seal it up. It just closes with a clap behind them.
As he does, we begin to hear the word like "Wah!" It's like it gets cut off.
Yep.
Like whatever it was saying. He looks at it like, oh.
Tali just kind of looks back with a rather concerned look at the air where the portal once was, as the jars of goo float around her mage hands.
Enrikin's like, what? I mean, we had to walk through the planes of death and reality. That's how I do it. Like looking at her.
Is there another way?
Is there another way?
Yes, there are other ways, but I must say your method works.
He nods.
Quite well.
That's my ambition. It should work. He looks suspiciously behind him. To Theranar. I don't like the look of Sisseth. That's a sneaky dragon.
Sneaky dragon.
I think, yes, my lord.
Late is the hour.
Yeah, he twiddles his mustaches. Like, yes.
They do seem to have an expression of respect, but also one of, well, the two of them are looking for any trouble that could appear, and you seem to at least concern them slightly, at least.
Enrikin looks them up and down, holding the scythe. He's not going to hide what he is now. That is not what he does anymore. The scythe gleaming in the sun out here in the ocean as he looks around.
Stripping the flesh from my bones with his eyes.
Yeah. Basically, he's
undressing my body.
Basically, he's looking around, being like, anyone want to start something? And then if no one does, he'll sort of look away. He needs to establish a dominance with these creatures,
Look in the eye.
Yeah, exactly.
One looks down. Next.
Exactly. Next.
Yeah, the scythe does also very much seem to attract Amaranth's attention as she stares a little bit.
You're gonna start something, bitch, because I'm not afraid of you anymore. Once upon a time, you could bully me around. Not anymore, Amaranth.
Isn't she so cute?
She does seem more disappointed than angry.
Ha!
Disappointed.
I'll tip her over the side of the boat. I'll be disappointed in her.
I imagine Handel gets on the boat.
But just say, Enrikin, looking around these people, all frowning or being worried around him, and he's like, bah!
Livies.
Yeah, mewling peasants with your morals and your... What have you accomplished? Nothing! That seems to be on his face from time to time. He doesn't say anything.
He has a "what have you accomplished? Nothing" scowl.
Yep.
Who are you to judge me?
Exactly. You cannot judge me. I am beyond all of you. Anyway, I had to get some maniacal necromancer out of the way.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I like the image of Harandel comes through the portal, looks around, realizes there's not much space for him anymore, lays down. Might as well keep it somewhat
it spreads
stable,
out
yeah.
to spread the weight.
Yeah. He looks around, checks that he's in the middle, lays down, spreads, he gets comfortable but kind of evenly distributed. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to tip this boat.
Just don't make me move, all right?
If I have to move, we're going to know about it.
Yep, for sure.
I hope no one's seasick.
As you approach, the Oracle herself does, of course, slowly make her way towards Graham, smiling as she does.
Graham is not taking his time. You just came from the battle with the Doom. He feels like he's busy right now.
It's how long? What, 20 seconds? Or something like that? It's less than a minute?
Too. It's a couple minutes.
A couple of minutes.
Gotta breathe in.
Perhaps more than minutes, but definitely not coming close to the day you supposedly have yet.
It feels like a few minutes. All that's happened.
Yeah, so frantically busy.
The Oracle turns to Graham and says, I am happy for your success. I have arranged everything as you've requested, although I do have to warn you yet again. I can only arrange the meeting. I cannot assure you of its outcome.
Graham will nod skeptically as he sort of grudgingly like fingers the hilt of the sword he's holding, like looking at her with that sort of, like that consideration of, sort of a last minute thought as he just
Getting
holds
cold
the
feet.
sword, just like looking at her as he then like grudgingly like like moves his hands out and goes closer to her. Actually going so far as to going down to one knee and like holding it out with the hilt first, sort of, his eyes closed, like mouth clenched slightly.
Adrian is
must be a
looking on, like
spectacle for
his
everyone.
eyes widening. He's
Yeah,
like,
we're like,
taking
what?
like a half step towards. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Sort of. What
because
bargain have you struck?
has Graham told anybody? I don't think he has he?
No, not really.
Oh, so we're all like, what?
She takes the sword that is offered to her slowly, running a finger on the dull edge of it, or rather on the side of it, taking a few moments to look at it in detail, before handing it back to Graham, hilt first. I believe you will need this on your journey.
I'll take it, looking surprised. He says, I should hope not. As he then looks around for a boat.
There's a single lifeboat sort of attached to the side here, like a rowboat, pretty much.
He frowns slightly, looking at the rowboat. He looks at his allies and says, help me bring the jars onto that.
Looks at the rowboat, frowns
Settling,
deeply.
like, to do it.
Can we get a sack or
Graham
something
looks
for the jars at least? Like,
There are certainly leather sacks available. Farina and Sisyph will also assist you in loading the boat.
all right. We take very careful look at these people so they don't steal a jar. Because
That would be bad.
I don't wanna hear about this anymore. And if that happens, so help me God. I will
Edward,
find every golden dragon there is.
With those thoughts, roll me a perception check.
I certainly will. What's my wisdom? It is 16. Okay. It's pretty good.
Okay. As you load the boat, well, you don't hear anything from Farina and Sisyph, and also don't see them do anything suspicious. But you do hear the different deckhands and whatnot sharing the many rumors about how this stuff supposedly heals every ailment and gives good luck and makes you immortal and pretty much does so many good things, while others are saying you're stupid and it's terrible and it's literally the devil in liquid form.
Yes.
The two sides seem to be spread about equally on the ship's crew here. None, however, seem to have the courage to try to actually steal anything. Not with so many of you and so many of the oracles and entourage on board.
We just got a tiny drink and he just evaporates.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, he just turns ash. Whoosh, he's gone. Henrik's eyes glows looking
I
at.
guess he drank some. Looking at everyone.
Yes.
That must be what happened.
Someone else wants to do something stupid. Oh.
When the boat is full of jars, Graham will sort of hop down on it, sitting on some jars, and Edeling will come with them, of course. She looks up, placing the sword next to him.
No, I guess we get into the boat.
As you do, he sort of takes the sword and pushes it away from the ship.
Looking at Hirondor on the boat.
The Oracle does say, as Enrican attempts to go in, this will have to be a journey for Graham alone.
Alright.
Says,
Enrican glances at the Oracle, looks to Graham.
the doom has to be destroyed, Enrican. I knew you would try to do yourself, so I suppose I did it first.
He frowns, looks at the sword, looks at the jars. I don't quite understand.
So
What
I'm
have
not
you done?
entirely sure, but looks there and says, no mortal can destroy it, so I arranged a meeting with someone who isn't.
Frowns, looks into the mist, and is like, oh, no.
And says, if I don't return, Someone says, don't forget about. Shakes his head and says,
He nods.
I'm saying you wouldn't.
I know. I won't.
Just save this land and
Nods.
sort of gestures. Edeling begins rowing slightly. She looks back.
Anakin, he raises his hand in a wave and then, does a deep and sincere bow and says, make sure to come back, old friend.
He'll raise her hands as if I can. Just remember we do this for the future.
For the future.
As Edeling begins to row, Graham is sitting back, so you can still see him. Even as the mist swallows him, you can still see the glowing, cold blue orbs that is his eyes,
Yep.
sort of disappearing slowly, even if the rest of him is gone. As he sails into the mist.
Anakin will remain at the railing of the ship, looking out after him. Scythe, one hand, one gnarled hand on the railing, gripping it, and the other one gripping the scythe.
Looks at Edeling. Now that he's out of... Well, there's just mist all around. I suppose it always was you and me. Friend. Edeling doesn't say anything because he can't.
He just gives you that knowing look.
He clacks with his teeth.
The knowing continuation of doing whatever he was ordered to do.
Yeah.
Graham looks at the sword, frowns slightly. Really hopes that...
As these dogs in the ground, I'm so sorry. As Graham disappears into the mist, the Oracle will sort of move closer to Enrican and pretty much all of you, really, watching his departure. She'll mumble to no one in particular, really. She, just like your friend, has the well-being of the Isles in mind. Their opinions might differ in certain aspects, yet she is not an unfair goddess. She offers choice. She interferes rarely because, well, what would be the point of choice if she would just change whatever everyone decides?
Anakin, glances over at the Oracle. And he says, I have never been much for the gods. Looking over to, Talia and Hirondor.
I have heard that about you. But as much as I respect your decision to remain apart from the gods, there are some situations where you cannot avoid being involved with them. This is one of them. I am not talking about Graham's decision, but the fate of the Isle itself. The Isle has been peaceful recently, ever since you defeated Zamfana. Now that you have defeated the Doom, one could almost think that things are coming to an end. But I'm afraid that is not the case.
Looks over to her. No, there is the Great Darkness, or whatever. The force that swallowed Graham's homeland.
She nods. It is very difficult for a god to die. It would be almost unthinkable for the lady to do so, as she is one of the strongest beings in the heavens. However, should the Isle fall, she will be forgotten. And a forgotten god is a dead god. We cannot let that happen. Graham cannot let that happen.
Looks over to her and says, it seems to me that our goals are somewhat different. Personally, I don't care if the lady dies or not. She's one being. What I care about is the island and the people on it.
The lady is the island, Enrican. There cannot be one without the other.
He shrugs and says, saving her life, then, would be an effect of what I'm doing, but it is not my goal. I want you to understand this. I care for the people, not the gods.
She nods and ponders. She stares into the mist. Graham no longer visible at all at this point.
I am curious. How do you arrange a meeting with a god?
She smiles slightly. There are privileges as well as difficulties that my position brings with it. This is one of them. I will say that I was surprised that I was able to do this in the first place. The lady is not known for being easy to communicate with. She watches and learns, but she does not interrupt or interfere. It may be a sign of her opinion about your friend, although it may also be a sign of how desperate the situation truly is.
He looks out over the water. I see. And how desperate is it, exactly?
I hope I will never find out how desperate it is exactly.
Grunts. We have done, if this succeeds, we have done what no one else could.
She nods.
The island without the doom, it is almost enough to crack a smile, isn't it?
It is a pleasant thought, but in the lady's mind, the doom... He pauses.
Yeah, he looks at her. give the look saying what he thinks about the lady's mind.
The lady is one of balance. Pure evil breeds pure good. There can not be one without the other. If everything was perfect, then there would be no perfection. There need to be flaws for people, for everyone to recognize the beauty of the island. Extremes do not work if there are no other extremes to counteract. There will always be the true evil on the island. Even if you have removed one of them, a lesser evil may rise.
He
Will
smiles
rise eventually.
slightly at her. You know,
Pointed.
yeah, that's is that a prophecy, a prognostication, oracle?
A fact.
That's I'll keep it in mind.
And as with all facts, we can simply accept them. Let's swap to Graham's perspective here, shall we? As he drifts through the mists.
It's rowing in there. Begins to hum an old sea song from
sea
his
shanty.
That wouldn't be a shanty, more like a tale in verse form.
Perhaps a eerily familiar situation, and last time didn't work out so well.
Yeah, it didn't. That nervous thing still comes back to haunt him when his people were with him. The ship sailing into the mist, getting separated, each ship alone, each crew alone. Just a quietness before a storm.
But in a storm.
He's happy he has the sword now.
But other than last time, the mists are not stormy. The sea is in fact perfectly calm. Some slight waves pushing the boat deeper into the mists. But other than that, there's no sound, nor wave, nor anything really. But eventually, Graham does see land approach. Well, he doesn't really see it approach rather than just bumping into it. The mist lifting a bit, letting him observe the tiny island that he has hit. Unlike his last time traveling through the mist in such a situation, however, there's something familiar. Very familiar, in fact. Let me just reveal this image over here.
Oh.
As there appears to be a building on the tiny rocky island in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. Similar to his people's building style, although not quite. There are flaws that he can see. Flaws that show that this was not necessarily built by a craftsman, but perhaps by something that didn't quite understand the intricacies. The wooden pillars aren't just wood pillars, but actual trees with roots digging into the stone. The door seems to be permanently stuck open, the hinges not existing. The roof isn't shingles or tiles, but just one solid thing throughout, with the texture of what you would expect from such a roof. But other than that, it at least seems as if it was built by Graham's people. The door, you can see, is open, and from inside there does seem to be the light of torches coming out.
I'll note the differences as he just sort of Idling hubs out, he hubs out, pulls the boat up on the beach, looking around, seeing mist, this tiny storm-filled place. Idling picking up all the jars. Graham takes the sword, letting Idling carry the jars while he has the weapon. And then he, looking around this small island, will begin making his way to the building.
The interior of the building is massive, far more massive than the exterior would explain, really. It is pretty much a long hall. Near the front, in most of the room, starting near the front, there are benches, tables, small places for... One second. There are benches, tables, and spots for campfires, spots to roast meat at. And at the very back, there are two large benches on either side of the walls of the hall. And at the very back, a raised platform, about knee height pretty much. It looks very much as if the two benches in front were for the two parties would like to present something to whoever sits on the raised platform and judges over them, whereas all the other rest seems to be just places and objects to make it more interesting for the spectators to stand there for hours at a time, even allowing them to make food and such in the process, while whatever is happening at the end of the hall is going on. From the entrance, you can also see that on the raised platform seems to be a sort of pedestal. Not very high, about a meter high, pretty much a rock just sitting there.
Is there anyone else here?
No, it is empty.
Walk in. Supposing he will walk up the center way of the building towards the raised platform.
Graham would guess that there's probably enough space for a good 200, maybe 300 people to just be in this hall without really obstructing the pedestal and benches at the front. But it is empty. Although the campfires and such do seem to have been used recently. Some old ash and charcoal in there, some dirty, like metal.
Está så high school then.
And so Graham suddenly hears a kind of
Sorry?
My immersion.
Sorry.
It is ruined.
Shattered like
So much glass.
like so much glass. It's like tears in the rain.
I can't really help it.
I get it.
Either way, as Graham approaches the raised section at the very end of the hall, and the rock, you can see that there is a slot in the rock, probably just big enough to insert a sword.
He looks at the sword, then looks at the rock, looks back to the Edeling with all the jars, and then he sort of gives a little bit of sort of a shrug, like, you know, what the hell, as he puts the sword into the sword-shaped, like, edifice.
And as he does so, sliding it into the rock, abruptly, the hall changes. Graham suddenly finds himself, together with Edeling, sitting on the left bench near the raised platform. The previously empty area of the hall behind him, populated by nothing really specific, but just specters, beings milling about. It's not really possible for Graham to focus on any particular of the people presumably moving about. It's just the sense of motion, but nothing more than that. A vague sense of people really being there, but hardly more than that. On the bench to his right, distorted a bit, the bench suddenly seeming much bigger than before. Jesus Christ. Two beings, in fact. Two large Tenenem sitting next to each other, both approximately as confused as Graham might be at this point. And while the Doom, suddenly back in its form, seems to have the intent of thrashing about, it also seems to be unable to do so.
Graham doesn't think that this is a fair fight. Considered.
And on the pedestal, where previously there was a mere rock with a sword in it, another massive creature now sits, with a reasonable amount of confusion as well, at least initially. But then the massive bronze Tenenem relaxes, taking a moment to shuffle about a bit, finding a better position to sit in. as he'll clear his throat, looking at the four creatures arrayed before him, as he speaks with his deep, bellowing voice. This is a surprising situation, to be sure. It appears that before I can rest once more, and perhaps truly this time, there's a decision to be made. Loose ends to be tied up. In this case, I will be the judge. I speak with her authority and her power. He turns towards Graham. First off, I am grateful that you have decided to give up the sword that trapped me. It was an item of power, and giving up power is perhaps the greatest gesture any of us can do. But this issue is complicated. Let us observe protocol. State your quarrel, Graham.
Malachi, you're supposed to speak.
Oh, I was muted. Graham just takes a moment looking like behind him slightly, you know. And that like, yes. He says, my quarrel is with, he sort of looks over to the Doom and says, the Doom. The existence of grave evil that endangers the existence of this land. I would have the Doom removed from existence so that this island and its people can be safe from it. It will do more evil than good by its continued existence.
The great bronze slowly nods, apparently ignoring both the Doom and the silver tandem sitting next to it completely. So it takes a while before saying, the Doom, as you've called it, it is a being that transcends mortality. Distilled thoughts of revenge fused with the last great silver. But it was created by the hand of man, and even in its twisted state, it remains a child of the lady, a part of the great cycle. Whether it is evil or good does not matter. It may be pure evil, but there's a balance in all things. Pure evil creates pure good, eventually. And then, of course, there's yourself, Graham. The heir of the invasion. If one were to compare suffering inflicted between the Doom and what you brought, I do not think it would even be close. But there is a difference, isn't there?
Graham nods. There is. Once, perhaps, we were enemies of this land, but we have never sought to destroy the land itself. And certainly, now, we seek to protect it. We have adopted it, or been adopted by it. This creature, next to it, never was, and never wants to be. It is a herald of a greater darkness that is to come, that will not only destroy the people on this land, but this land forever, thereby also threatening the lady herself.
The great bronze nods. It is a tenet that has to be followed by any of the lady's children to seek more strength, more power. Some do attempt to do this by taking power from the land itself, yet none have ever done it on such a scale as the being you accuse and wish gone. As you correctly state, the difference is intent, the why. You want the Doom gone, but the reason is important. It is important for you to understand the reason. Your own God has made you immortal. You could hide at the bottom of the ocean, and the Doom's existence would mean nothing to you. The souls of your people are forever stuck in a convenient container. Take it, sail away. The Doom would mean nothing to you. You've run away from your problems once before. Why not do it again?
Frowns slightly and says, we ran away because we had no way to fight. But now we do. Just, I've been given a second chance. I've been made immortal, as you say. The last effort of a dead god, so that I could try to save our people. My people truly are in sterling hold, kept within the Forge of Souls. However, all the men, all the women, all the children on this island, they are all descendants of my people. It is my duty to protect them. And as they rely on this island to live, the island, and their fate is one and the same. We could run again, but this darkness would follow us. This is where we take our stand.
Another nod from the Great Bronze. See, takes a good 2 minutes just thinking. Occasionally looking away at the walls of the hall. And as he does so, during moments of nothing really happening, Graham notices smoke squeezing its way through the gaps between the logs that the house is made out of. A thick layer slowly covering the floor. Something that the Great Bronze, nor anything else present, seems to notice. Few moments later, the house shakes, ever so slightly, as if there was an earthquake in the distance, with the sound of falling rocks accompanying it shortly after. That does get a slight reaction, but what is more important, it gets the same reaction from everyone. Even the vague beings behind Graham all seem to suddenly lift their heads, looking up, including both Onophilia and the Doom sitting on Graham's right. The whole spectacle, the sounds, the smoke, happen within a number of seconds. And then, once again, abruptly, the situation changes. The hall is back as it was before. Graham sitting there, the Great Bronze still thinking about Graham's words, and Onophilia and the Doom both sitting there, simply watching, being unable to do much more. So the Great Bronze continues. The question that will determine everything, Graham, it's very simple. The question that will decide whether the Doom has to be removed is simple. Have you found a home, Graham? Have your people found a home, or do you intend to remain guests, parasites?
Frowns at the dragon calling his people parasites. So looks at him and says, our descendants live here. They have families. They're born here. But we, says his hand says, the souls of those who came, we will not leave. I have made an agreement. My friend, Enrikin, says, we will stay here. We will protect this land forever. The souls may not get rest, but they have agreed as well. Warriors to stand an unending watch to ensure that the safety of this land, that the safety of our descendants can continue. This is their home, and so it is our home. We're not running again.
The great bronze nods as another blast hits the house, setting part of the roof on fire. But again, it only lasts for a couple of seconds before abruptly everything is fine again.
I'm sort of nervous that this is disapproval.
The bronze nods, says, "The Doom has done much damage, draining the island to strengthen itself. It itself is too damaged to be brought back into the eternal circle. Yet destroying it will leave a gaping hole. Your people, even in death, they could have a home on the island. Not just empty existence, but they could finally succeed in fighting for a home. Not as conquerors, but as defenders this time. But they would need you to lead them, to give them a voice. If they are to be at home, they will be part of the island, not mere visitors stuck in an eternal prison. But then you too would have to be part of the island, a child of the island. Now, do think. The lady gives choices. She does not order or command. You would have to give up your God. He could rest well knowing that his children are safe, knowing that they will face the darkness once more, but not alone. Yet, consider the consequences, both of agreeing and rejecting this offer. The bronze continues. Either way, I've not yet had the pleasure of dealing in an environment of absolute truth. It is quite liberating to not have to worry about lies and deception. I can see the Doom's motives. I can see Onephilia's motives. They bother me, yet in the end they too would give everything to defend their home. It only makes sense that if you wish them removed, and your reasons are good, that someone will have to take their place in the defense. Someone who might just succeed.
Slightly. She looks at the bronze, sort of trying to suss out what exactly this means. Says, my people will be at home on this land. That I can accept. I had hoped for such a thing. Says, I would entrust my people's safety to a God that was not our own. That too, I can accept. Francis. But when you say I would have to take the place of the Doom, he looks over, says, if that means becoming like it, that I would not be able to abide by.
He shakes his head. No, you misunderstand. What the lady needs is defenders, not tyrants or monsters. You would not take the place of the Doom. You would make it unnecessary.
Marceline says, so she asks only that me and my people defend this land? This is such a bargain. And if I do this, the doom will be gone forever. Sort of looks at it.
He nods. One way or another, the doom would be gone forever, yes.
Well, Pete nods and says, then I shall accept this bargain. It seems the lady and I have very similar interests.
The bronze nods once more as part of the roof shatters. But this time not because of fire or something hitting the house, but rather a spectral claw, a spectral limb. Translucent, but definitely scaled, reaching through it with fury, shooting towards the doom and pretty much grabbing it. However, as it does so, there's the sound of sizzling, the smell of acid biting into flesh as the spectral claw, for just a moment, retracts, twitches back from the event. There is a moment of surprise on both the Great Bronze as well as on the Doom itself, as the spectral claw once more shoots out, grabbing the Doom despite the sizzling sensation. And as far as Graham can tell, throws it up into the sky. So it disappears into the blackness. The bronze does seem unnerved by the happenings that took mere moments, as it takes a moment to collect itself. Then says, "It truly is distilled evil, the antithesis of life. It even hurt the lady as she tried to destroy it." He frowns a bit. "It will drift among the stars forever. It should be a fitting end for a being that itself thought it to be patient. Yet 300 years will seem like a mere moment in the endlessness of the space between the stars. It shall never visit the island again. There is, however, one last thing. I would like your opinion on this, Graham." As the Great Bronze twists toward the Silver Tenor, continuing to talk. She had an oath of stopping this doom from ever continuing its activities. An oath that she broke, something that goes against her very essence. She gave up. She let it do the horrible things that weakened the island. And she agreed. She supported it even. Her intentions were pure, to defend the island, yet she was short-sighted. She would have kept her deal with it, let it loose after this great darkness was defeated, plunging the island, well, you can imagine. Her body would not support her anymore, and, well, there's no way for her to rejoin the Isle. What would you do with her?"
Graham looks startled for a moment, not expecting to have this sort of... She looks to her. Not exactly. This. She fought bravely for many years. She decided, in the end, that the best chance, the best way she could use her powers to save this island was to do things that, to us, given what we know, seems foolish and dangerous. Perhaps at another time I would have condemned her immediately, but given what I know, given what he sort of looks at his hands as what I am, I would say that she cannot be entirely blamed for her lack of understanding or perspective. Let her simply rest. She has fought long enough.
The Great Bronze nods. She will rejoin the circle then. And with those words, the scene definitely ends. Graham not really remembering what happened after, as he will eventually come back into sight of the boat waiting. For the people on the boat, it has been hours at this point. The night is falling.
What you see,
and
from
the-
the.
Sorry, continue.
No, what you see is like Anakin still standing at the railing. I know you see his dark silhouette in the night. Basically, the scythe looming over him as maybe the moon casts, bleak light and shadows over the ship. And like from inside his hood, you will see the occasional like embers flare up from his pipe as he slowly smokes, looking out over the sea into the mist.
And eventually, the little lifeboat comes back into view. With something unconscious on it. Malachi, would you like to?
I
Oh,
tried, but
duplicate token. Sorry. Try again.
Oh God!
Wow.
That boat is.
Yeah, it's not really.
divine.
It's mostly covered by the thing that is inside it. As it drifts almost as if carried back to you closer.
Well, Hirandor will look to Yormungandr and then get up and sort of take flight and say, "Give me a hand."
Imagine the boat lurches several meters back as it takes
Yeah.
flight.
And Hirandor will grab this Tannin and try and carry it back onto the boat.
Yeah, it is quite the ordeal, although the Oracle's entourage do help you. Both Yormungandr and Farina and Sisyph are confused, to say the least. The Oracle seems to have expected, or at least doesn't show surprise.
Anakin has a look of like terror and just shock on his face seeing this. Not much can shock him anymore, but this certainly does it. And he like lurches, grabbing again a hold of the scythe to like steady himself.
I guess Hirandor will, with great effort, bring the Tannin to him over onto the boat. Just put him down in the middle, and we'll.
Old pieces of darkened clearly exploded chainmail sort of slide off a little bit.
Anakin looks up and down at the creature. He frowns.
Randall looks to the oracle and says, "Who is this?"
I believe we should wait until he tells us.
Randall frowns. Furious, barking is furious.
Sorry.
The creature sort of stirs. Large sort of wings, really thick scales of a golden, slightly almost brown color covering it. Stark green eyes, long thick horns. Clearly of a wilder description. Very much so. Stir, and then a long wheeze, as if lungs that have not breathed for too long suddenly just begin to ventilate rapidly.
A heart
As
that
the
is
creature
not
dry
beating.
heaves a few times before sort of standing up, weirdly sort of moving, dizzy, clearly. Probably moving, like smashing its head against the mast.
Mm-hmm.
Looking around. Tail sort of flicking back and forth.
Sees
Good evening.
Anakin looking up at him.
Good
Looks
evening.
down, eyes narrowing. S- Enrikin.
Looks up and down. Graham? Says incredulous.
How long has it been?
Not long. Few hours, perhaps.
Feel like saying 4,000 years.
we
He
have
chokes again.
We have waited.
As if constantly
Millennia.
holding his breath.
been...
This is you. I breathe.
I
That gets
believe,
a smirk out of Randall.
I believe it's correct to say, welcome back to life.
Anakin looks more pale than usual, if that's even possible.
Yes, the doom. The doom is gone, Enrikin. It's dead. It will never trouble us again. It worked. So it looks around to like whoever he sees, like Talia, and like it worked. Down to the Oracle. Frowns slightly.
And
So-
you!
You did this.
She simply smiles.
This was certainly a different outcome than I think most of us expected. Kind of Talia's clearly examining Graham up and down with all of her knowledge about Tannenham.
Around him seems to be floating, like around his head especially, like tiny motes, almost like fireflies of various colors. Wind constantly blowing across him. Little motes of, almost like little raindrops or flakes of cinders.
Here and Dorothy to look into Talia's eyes of, I want to study this.
Randall gives the look of,
Hirondor.
don't poke it.
Says, smaller than usual.
Randall smiles and says, "You have 2 extra limbs."
3 if you count a tail.
3 if you count the tail, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, just... I can't believe it.
Well, believe it. For the power of faith is greater than you expected.
Randall.
Anakin looks like he's about to retch.
Randall moves ever so slightly closer and then pokes Graham's flank and says, "You've gotten fat."
Am I going to put both of you on a diet?
The Oracle slowly makes her way into the group as she says, "The young architect requests your assistance."
Randall actually rolls his eyes.
I suggest we make way towards the Free City. It will give you a few days to get accustomed, even though a boat isn't exactly the best environment. Still, there are plenty of teachers around, and perhaps the few days will be enough for your companions to realize that you are still the same.
You have to learn entire parts of our culture.
Graham will nod, and then he'll take off flying, as I need to be right back.
Just gone.
Wow, he's a natural at that.
Hirondor smiles and says, "You know, some young Tananim fly from a very small age. And I suppose if you are that size, I don't see why you can't. It should be instinct."
He perhaps had a bit of help as well.
Hirondor kind of smiles a bit. It's gonna take some extra work on your part, Talia, fixing all of the doors.
Talia pauses for a moment and just smiles a little bit. Well, if that's the extra work that's needed, that's not a problem. Talia looks over at Anrican.
Anrican looks again like he's about to throw up, like he can't, because you know. But he looks sick to his stomach.
Talia kind of takes a step over and tries to put a hand on his shoulder. Are you going to be okay?
He shakes his head. No. He looks after Graham as he like flies out over the water. This is shocking and upsetting and revolting at all the same time, and I can't articulate it.
You'll be fine. You just need time to adjust to your long-time friend changing.
He shudders visibly. What did you do to him? Grips the scythe.
Do not
She created him in her image.
That indeed seems so. Do not go to haste using that, though. Look down at the scythe.
I doubt it would work against a god.
And I doubt it would have happened unwillingly.
Snorts.
It doesn't quite seem like the way.
If you put the balance of the island and all the lives on it against Graham sacrificing himself, that is not really a choice, is it? You can't put a crossbow bolt or a cannon to someone's face and say that they are free to choose if they give up or they get their heads blown off. There is no choice in that regard.
We do what we must, Anrican. We always have.
He nods. Yes, we do what we must.
Do not think of this as some turning of some bad tide approaching, but perhaps this may turn out to be a good thing.
He looks out and says, Maybe.
Give it time at least. Let's see what happens.
At least I've only got to lug around 2 of you now. Maybe 1. Cram pulls his weight.
I need some time, says Anrican as he stalks away, like below deck or like at the rear
I
end of the
presume there's a
ship or
below
something.
deck.
Or something. He disappears for a little while because I also need to go to the bathroom.
Hirandor looks over everybody to Killmonger and says, "It seems like everybody's getting bigger than you now."
He frowns, nods.
Well, if it means anything, I do not think I will be increasing in size.
Hirandor nods and like taps like a claw on her head.
Yes, hello, fat one.
Killmonger says, and you know what's the worst about all this, son? The boat is going to be so crowded for the next few days.
He nods and says, "I wonder if we can freeze enough of the sea to create a raft of our own."
You know, my bigger concern is how much is going to be eaten now.
Well, the wilds tend to supply, but
You're on the ocean.
I mean, kind of looks around and says, "None of us really swim." Kind of looks at the water. I suppose we could just skim across. Maybe a whale would come by.
I can imagine the scene now. You chasing down a whale.
They're pretty slow. Have you seen? They're very slow, comparatively to a dragon on flight. And there's many of us. I think we could take one down.
It'll be your greatest nemesis yet.
Just call me Captain Arab. Hirandor will smile and say, "It's gonna it's gonna be interesting getting used to another Tananim, especially one that doesn't know how to
Be a Tamanim?
be a Tananim." Yeah.
Well, as it stands, though, we must accept what's happened and figure out what to go forward with.
If I'm honest, I actually quite like the change. It's dull being the only Tananim in our little group. Will we go to the outsiders' territories? I feel very out of place.
I think all of us felt out of place there.
He smiles.
Still, this change should bring forth some new situations for us. Though we still got the biggest part to come.
He nods. I'm just surprised gold. I did see him as more of a silver than a gold. But then not much of a silver on its own, but shrugs.
Coming from a silver who stopped being.
And stop being a silver, you change. It wasn't just my color that changed that day. He kind of looks off to the golden glint in the sky. Says, "I wonder if that change will be similar, Graham."
Only
It's hard
time.
to deny.
Only time will tell.
He smiles and says, "Maybe he'll follow his friend's teachings and become grey."
Though I must keep an eye out. Some reason I fear that he's going to forget to eat.
And breathe.
It's been a
And
long
sleep.
time since he's done it. Well, the sleep part he'll do automatically.
True. It might last a day. Maybe 2. Depending on how much he eats. Or doesn't.
If there's anything compared to you,
He winks. Says, hey, I catch up on what sleep I can. Gotta
suppose
get
we-
it somewhere.
I suppose we work you quite a bit.
He nods and says it's good that Anakin can teleport us around. I'm getting tired of flying you guys everywhere.
He may not be the only one to be able to do that soon.
Quirks an eyebrow. Says, have your own means?
Well, in the works, yes. After all, my magic is nothing to scoff at.
He nods. Says, saved my hide a few times.
More than a few. Welcome back.
Anakin still looks rather sick. He looks at the oracle and says, how urgent was the summons from Gavir?
I do not believe it was very urgent yet. But you
Excellent.
Yet?
might want to consider visiting him soon.
I like to be put off close to Sterling Hold. My presence is required.
It would take us quite some time to refuel at the Free City and then go to Sterling Hold by boat. You would be better off traveling there through other means.
Looks at the others.
Anakin quirks an eyebrow and says, what's so urgent, I reckon?
I am not sure, but something has happened, and I am required in Sterling Hold. If this
Kinda-
boat will not take me there, then I will go myself.
You were planning to rip a hole through again.
Yes.
Anakin, you don't have to go alone.
He looks with some disdain at the oracle. And then he says, I wouldn't want to taint this holy ship with my heretical presence longer than I have to.
Coming from one whose intentions, though, are often far from that.
He snorts. I am surrounded by holy miracles and the lady's will. It is enough to make me throw up, if I could.
There's only 3 of us, and one of us isn't even here.
Looks over, looks at all the other dragons here.
Yeah, they're not miracles. And Hirando's not even sure he's a miracle of the lady anymore.
He smiles like, I'm a miracle!
He's so confused. Hirando, shrug and say, if you really want to go to Sterling Hold on your own, then fine, but I'd be more than happy to accompany you.
I can't guarantee it will be very pleasant in Sterling Hold.
Hirando frowns and says, we just went to the Fae and killed the Doom for Graham to sacrifice himself for its utter destruction to become Tananim. I think I'm fine with Death City, honestly.
It is not your physical well-being as much as what I might have to do there.
He shrugs and says, I don't have to be around while you do what you need to do.
He nods, I suppose.
I'd say I'd go hunting, but I think all wildlife within a few 100 miles have vanished from Sterling Hall.
If that is your wish, that I will not stop you from going there.
Flies in,
American moves aside to let it
clumsily landing, using the mast to sort of sturdy himself to not slid off and fall into the water on the other side.
The entire ship tilting to the side.
Like, Herandor grabs onto the railings of the other side and starts, like, trying to fly upwards a little bit to try and counteract the
Breathes in.
shift.
Looks around. I live. It is true. This is intoxicating. You know, next to Randor and Talia, you didn't tell me it would be like this. I can feel the blood in my body. I can move faster. I can breathe. I can taste the salt. Feel the wind. The heat. The cold.
Welcome back to life, my friend.
I had forgotten. Quite forgotten.
There is a reason I've been reluctant to give up this mortal coil.
Herandor smiles and says, "Just wait until you start breathing fire."
He snorts.
The ship lets on fire.
We
Well,
can put it out. It's fine.
To American says, our people.
he looks at him. Yes.
We've been accepted. We are no longer invaders. We're defenders of the island. That was the deal. I did not think it would be such.
He nods slowly. I see.
She looks to the others.
So, did you expect any of this coming or not?
He frowns, his big dragon face. I never expected something like this to happen, no. I thought I would have to prostrate myself, have to beg you or give up life, limb, principle.
You did quite the reverse. You got life.
You're thoughtful. I suppose I gave up my perspective for a new one. I am remade, as the lady would have her guardian, not as I was. Think. Sort of pausing a little bit in his otherwise drunken reverie. I'm different now. But the things we need to do remain the same. She has chained our people to the land. They are free here. But we are here now. We can no longer leave. The land and us, we are linked.
I don't think you ever intended to leave it in the first place.
He shakes his head, no, but we could have done it. We wouldn't. But we could have. Now there's no such choice.
What of the people in the forge?
Don says, I do not know. But I changed quite significantly. I can only imagine something would have happened there as well. Even now I hear voices. So it looks at the tiny motes. Speaking, asking questions. They are familiar yet different.
I have been summoned back to Sterlinghold. Apparently my presence is required. Looks up and down to Graham. I don't know if you got the same call, or if that bond now is broken.
Frowns, perhaps slightly worried. He says, I've heard nothing. She looks to the others.
Being in the mist could have caused that. The change could have caused that.
There are many things going on here.
Bows his head slightly. Looks over to the side to the Oracle. Looks to Enriken. Perhaps seeing some strained coldness between them.
Yeah, Enriken.
What happened while I was gone, but imagining.
Yeah, Enriken certainly doesn't look happy currently. Yeah. As I think I described before, he looks like he's about to throw up.
Looks to her and says, I think I have some questions. He looks over to the two gold dragons behind here and says, some rather personal. This is all rather new to me.
The two gold dragons look at each other for a moment, and Arana turns back, nods slightly, and says, "Whatever you need, Graham."
I'm not slightly uncomfortable at this inability to know how his body works.
Time for Graham to go through dragon puberty.
Yep.
I'm
All in
out.
1 second.
Not gonna.
You're not ready for that 1 hour
No,
long.
I am out. I'm not staying for Dragon Puberty.
but we need to have the talk, Henrik.
No, no, that is not for Enriken
It's
to
an
have.
educational show, Jonas. Our YouTube channel is educational now, so.
How did it change the type when you weren't looking?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Graham will sort of nod to the others as he looks to Enriken before he goes and says, do you want me to go with you, friend?
He looks up to him and up and down to him and says, "I don't know, Graham. I don't know what you are."
He nods slightly. I'm not sure myself.
What we planned, what we had set in motion, our version of protecting the Isle, the shield we were constructing. Looks up and down. I am not sure if you are still with me behind that shield, or if I will have to hold it up alone.
Fountless, in whatever battle you fight, friend, you will never stand alone. As for my
It is
capacity in what we were doing, I sort of moves a claw up and looks at it. Says, what is in me now is different.
I imagine.
Nods.
I am thinking that perhaps the throne of darkness that we were constructing to rule our forces from is not the place for someone with such radiance.
Graham looks almost sort of a little taken aback.
Talia looks
A
questioningly.
little hurt emotionally. Sorry. I understand. He walks over, just giving Enrican like a look behind. He walks over here.
Now he's going to hang out at the dragon table.
To quietly speak to the two gold dragons.
Throne of Darkness. Talia looks over to her side.
Looks over to her and
What's
says,
an opening? Just
"It is cold and dark and lonely in the Palace of the Dead, Talia. I don't know if Graham can be in such environments any longer."
I see. I peers over at Graham.
You do not rule a legion of restless souls in glittering light and mirthful companionship. They're morose things. You rule them in somber environments, dusty halls, quiet whispers. Not this glittering spectacle.
I must admit, in all the areas my magic perfects, you are certainly the expert when it comes to those that are already dead.
I must have a talk with him once he has figured out what he is.
That may take quite some time.
Otherwise, I guess I am the only dread left. Takes a step, looks over the railings again. His shoulder sort of sinks a little bit. It is clear that he is quite sad. And his face is turned away. And maybe he's crying. It's hard to say, if he even can.
streams of ash.
Basically. He mumbles to himself, "It is lonely in the darkness."
Yeah. Now he is truly alone.
So party composition is now free alive again. We've got living
Yeah.
by us.
And it's half dragon.
That detail can be skipped over.
Oh. I'm happy about it.
I know you're happy about having more dragon.
Well, okay, so
What do
where are
do
we
now?
going next? Are we going to Sterling Hold?
Because
Or are we going...
on one hand, we need to we might want to go to the Free City to deal with like Gavir.
Yep.
On the other hand, it seems like our one remaining dead person wants to go to
What do you need to deal with Gavir with?
Random
What's up with him?
He's requested urgent aid. We don't know why, but it's requested urgent aid.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, the Oracle informed us that he's requested urgent aid.
Yeah. So...
We don't know more though. So.
Yeah, so it's kind of a...
I only know that my presence is required in Sterling Hold soon.
Well, I guess
Okay.
immediate beats soon.
Mm-hmm. Somewhat, yes. So... Grand Castle and teleport to Sterling Hold?
Or
Seems
you...
like that's something Enrican would do.
Yeah, in that case, I would just go in.
Knowing what I know of the place, it's not really a place to. Well,
Sure. I mean, instead of going to Sterling Hold and Arandor and possibly Talia could just go to Radiant Spire.
We need to manage our new cities.
Yeah, we've got
So-
stuff to do.
so
I'm gonna
sounds
set
like,
aside a room
Sounds
for
like
that.
Little Architect first.
I'm cool with it.
How long would
Then-
it take, like, by the quickest possible means? Like, if I literally get, like, B-Car to fly me to Sterling Hold.
Well, the boat to the Free City is going to take about a week to get there. From there, you'd have to travel to Crimson Peak. Probably take 2 weeks if you really, really, really hurry.
Oh, man, that's way long.
That is very long.
Need more of those teleports. Like,
You do, I believe, have 2 scales remaining, as well as a scroll of teleport that you've never used.
Oh yeah, we do have a scroll.
they need to be stuck up there.
Well, he's got his own spell slot still as well, because he didn't expend that.
Right.
So
He
he's
could
got the
tele-
scroll and that.
Could teleport
Scales?
up there and teleport back.
I can certainly go there. I will probably wouldn't teleport away from it again
Yeah.
until
You'd,
I would
we'd meet up at like the glittering city. Or...
Yeah. basically.
Is this goodbye?
Looks over and says, "For now."
Well, I wish you good fortune with whatever happens.
I'm not sure
Smirks
where I'd
slightly. Are you sure you do that?
Feeling strange seeing Enrican leave without him. That hasn't really happened. But he knows what awaits the living who enter that place, and that can't be denied.
Take care, my friends, and we will meet again in a few weeks.
Bows his head.
And nods, says, "I will hold you to that."
Nods.
No matter what, the compact stays together for now.
It does. He looks over. Anakin looks over to Graham. Goes over and says,
It's like the Notebook.
We will need to have a talk at some point.
He nods and says, I'm inclined to agree. There's too many things that are different, and yet so much remains the same.
Very well. I shall leave you now.
Give a kind word to Our Lady. I hope her body has come well along. She's gifted, and she will, with that thing, be quite a formidable companion as well.
I will see you later. As Enrican weaves the spells of darkness, the reality screams as it shatters, and he will step through the gate, and it will slam shut behind him.
Alright, straight to Sterlinghold then?
Yes.
Well, Enrican will then appear on one of the 4 massive staircases that connect the 4 levels of the city. The city is as empty and dark as it has always been. Not a sound other than the sound of leaves being blown by the wind. But it does not take long that Enrican hears something approach with a metallic and rhythmic thump, 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 traveling through the tunnels adjacent to the staircase. A few moments later, let me move your token to Sterlinghold. Around on the corners, peeking through the darkness, is a construct vaguely in the shape of a tandem. Well, Enrican would assume that apparently that engineer has done some speedy work, as he did not expect to be done this early, but seems to have been motivated to finish quicker.
Alright. Enrican looks around. He hasn't been in Sterlinghold for a while. So he'll take a gander at the city to see if anything has changed dramatically of the city skyline or something.
Dramatically, no. He would think, however, that there are less of its guardians around, the sort of melancholic skeletons of Tannin that patrol the city. He doesn't see many. Although he does see other undead creatures just going about their unlives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't bother him anymore. They can't. He's the power here. They know it. He looks to Millicent and says, "Well, it seems that your new body is satisfactory."
Well, it at least appears that I do once again possess the ability to at least do some minor magics. It is a good start. Yet I do think that it is not as I had hoped. The size is... I will have to get used to it.
He smiles slightly. Yes, I have had a few similar experiences of late. Looks around. Now, I do believe that you summoned me.
Yes, and I am in a sense glad that you came alone. It is a unfortunate topic, perhaps a sensitive one. The forge, the cage of Graham's people. It is... She pauses, looking perhaps a bit guilty almost. Empty. A brilliant light, and the soul simply fled. I tried to keep them contained, but I simply could not.
And looking grimaces. I knew it.
I had intended to use them to fuel that sword of yours, yet I had not made much progress in the research, as I still require the samples of the Doom. At least in this form I can finally properly analyze them.
Yes, there has been some shocking turns of events, I'm afraid. And he will basically recap what happened to Millicent.
Okay. She listens, her metallic frown deepening over time.
I like that they built in the ability to frown on the mechanical construct.
Mechanical eyebrows going down.
Yeah, it's like,
They do 180 turns.
wow. Fully
As
articulated.
As Enrican finishes the summary, she is quiet for a moment and says, "That sets our work back by quite a bit."
He nods. Yes.
However, I do not think all is lost. We may have lost the souls and a significant portion of the power source that we could have used for oh so many things, yet we still have the container. We could refill it with other things.
Enrique smiles slightly. Do go on.
I have suggestions, however, no specific plans, as I did not obviously anticipate this happening. I think the results could excuse the means.
Nods. From what I have seen recently, I am not overly sensitive to many things anymore. I might have lost a friend today. I'm not sure yet. But I do think that our goal should remain for now, and the dread should be constructed. He looks around. It is a fitting place for it, and we have worked a long while to set this up. It would be aggravating if divine intervention was the way this ended.
Sort of nod slightly. If I may make a suggestion, however, the scholars you've hired as consultants or whatever you had in mind for their purpose,
Yes.
they've been very distracting, to say the least.
Are these the anti-Doom group?
Yes.
Right. You know, yes, they can be let go. I will. He looks around. Did they have an office here, basically, or did they? Just where did they actually stay in Sterlinghold, if they did?
Well, Milton will inform Enrican that their main sort of headquarters was a floating barge in Grimskill's harbor. When they stayed in Sterlinghold, which they didn't do often, mostly because they had no reason to other than curiosity, they sort of just picked a building.
Sure.
Usually one of the lower tier ones, but they didn't build an office. Most of them were rather reluctant to go anywhere, except Bezrina and Rochelle, who wanted to go into the highest towers.
Of course. That's fine. They're the ones that can actually roam this place, and Anakin wouldn't mind too much. Well, yes, I will send word that their services are no longer required as the Doom is destroyed, which is certainly a grand proclamation that will be communicated to the rest of the icons. He thinks again. I'll have a talk with Sargath as well at some point. Looks over to Amelisynth. Whatever you need to get the project started again, let me know.
She pauses for a bit. Well, there are some things that could be useful. Most importantly, any remaining samples of the Doom.
He shakes his head.
I
No.
do not know how it was destroyed, yet surely there's some left.
The way I understood
up
it,
in the stratosphere.
it is gone.
Are the creatures inflicted by it cured, or what happened to them?
It seems to think, I am not sure. If this was direct divine intervention, I imagine that it is all gone, ripped out from the island, never to return. And most of the inflicted creatures that we have come across, we have destroyed ourselves.
There is one at least who remains.
He nods. Yes, the new Wilderhead.
Well, two, if you consider him.
What else then?
It is mere rumors, of course, but rumors are worth investigating.
Mm-hmm.
She sort of raises an eyebrow. Your friend followed his mother's footsteps, did he not?
I can
Don't you dare do it! Don't you dare do it!
Black cut.
He smiles slightly and says, yes, he did.
I believe he did.
That's like thunder strikes, lightning ravages the skies of Sterlinghold.
We see now like a chamber where the same lightning is heard, like
Yep.
a different place. Yeah. It's a hardcore way. Someone looks at the window like, I hear voices in the storm.
Somewhere Hirandor shivers. He's like, ooh.
Some oracle somewhere opens his eyes and like, what have I seen?
Death walks these lands again. Yeah. Yes, Hirandor. I will investigate him.
She nods, almost looking like a sort of bow, but not quite.
Yeah, he looks around. Maybe he could command one of the like guardians to carry him, you know, like a horse. I don't know. He doesn't have to walk all the way back.
The Guardians have certainly become very few, but Enrican might be able to find one and make it do whatever he'd like.
That's
Although the distance it can travel from Sterlinghold while still being under Enrican's control is limited.
right. I would need to go to Glittering Peaks, basically.
Yeah, Emilisson herself will inform Enrican that she's quite happy with being able to affect the physical world again, but she too can't travel too far, or, well, things might get dangerous for her.
Yeah, does she like refuel? Like, what's the? Does she have a tank?
No, she'll inform Enrican that she uses part of the Soul Forge
Okay.
as a sort of link between herself and the magic item that she is, basically.
All right.
If she would travel too far, she probably couldn't control herself anymore.
Mm.
She would rather not think about what exactly happens.
All right. All right. Well, keep working on it, and I will go and talk to Hirondor. If he doesn't cooperate, then maybe there might be another vacancy in the Wilderhead department. Because that guy just took the seat, and I'm fairly confident I can defeat a middling dragon.
Turns out Erasmus wasn't as useful as we thought. You're probably pretty pissed right now.
Well, you know. Did Melissa want anything else?
No.
All right. Well, she'll keep working. If she needs anything specific, she can send a message. But for now, Anakin will assume that she has all she needs to continue work, and he will try to get the more specific ingredients. And after that, he will slowly make his way towards the Glittering Peaks, riding on one of the skeletal guardians over the Shimmering Plains.
Maybe visiting the little shrine.
Yeah, maybe visit the shrine. Contemplate for a few days. Sit in the cold. Inspect that the white dragon is doing his job.
Visiting the shrine. Well, that's something nobody has ever done in quite some time. It has been definitely over a year at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And without taking too much time, Enrican will see that that Fancy's tomb, as it were, is in pristine condition. It is as he left it, basically. The white dragon that guarded it, whose name has escaped me, has held up his end of the deal, basically. You let him live. In exchange, you provide for travelers and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He will definitely invite Enrican as he approaches, with some hesitation, although he does seem to want to fight against that hesitation. And with a sort of disappointed sort of tone, he'll inform Enrican that there really haven't been many visitors he could help. He has tried, and he likes his new title of Tomb Guard very much. It's much better than Blade Guard, who likes blades anyways.
That's right.
But there hasn't been much opportunity. But he has done his best to keep the tomb as it was.
Well, Enrican will, he will spend a few days at the tomb, probably meditate, like sit in front of Fancy encased in the ice, and just meditate, think on his plans. Maybe he will leave, maybe he will leave a some form of winter flower or something at the site.
Yeah, the White Talon will even hunt for Enrican, and probably get disappointed when Enrican doesn't actually eat anything.
He'll take some just to keep him happy.
The dead Fey Wolf.
Oh, wonderful! I love it. It's the best present. All right. Well, he will talk a little bit with Dragon, say that he's pleased, happy that he's doing his best, and he seems to be doing well. And he will hope that more travelers, as time goes by, more travelers will indeed brave the plains.
Pilgrims.
He'll spread the word. As much as someone listens to a creepy necromancer telling them stuff.
They better.
But yeah, that's what he's doing.
Okay. How does the rest of the party travel? The boat would first of all, without a doubt, head to the Free City, as that is the closest port available, other than Royalton. But then you would have to walk the land route. Where do you go from the Free City?
Grand Castle, I
Grand
guess.
Castle. Yeah.
All right. Does Enrican intend to meet with the rest in Grand Castle?
No, he meets them
Okay.
in Radiant Spire.
Grand Castle then. Yeah, it takes about 5 days for the boat to travel from the edge of the mist back to the Free City. And then the usual week or so to get to Grand Castle. Most likely the flying route, as that is definitely quicker than taking the long way around. Grand Castle stands as before. The purple dome shield once again active. But this time there's at least no smoke coming through it. The gate closed, but there's a familiar face guarding its front. Who lets you in without too much trouble. He is surprised seeing you.
This is Ace again.
As he...
If it is, we're gonna have to kill her.
Yeah, like a third coup d'etat, really? Like,
Yeah,
at some point you
it's a
gotta
bit-
fucking quit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's enough.
let's actually put Milan here on the map. Put your
God.
tokens near Grand Castle.
He looks so small now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
He'll
Great.
greet you at the massive gate to Grand Castle. That is big enough to allow Hirondo and Graham to walk side by side, no problem. He does a short salute with some hesitation as he commands his people to open the gate and says, "Greetings, Hirondo and Talia," and he points to Graham.
Frowns. You recognize me not?
I
I
am
perhaps should be insulted. Looks himself, sort of ponders it and says, though, given the circumstances, perhaps there could be some leniency.
Randall's
Shakes
like,
himself a little
it's
uncomfortably.
rather understandable, Graham.
Malone pauses, frowns, and then once again gives his people the command to open the gate. He turns back around. Either way, the architect has requested your presence, and I'm pleasantly surprised that you arrived so quickly. I would not have expected the messengers to find you within 2 days.
How did we get the message? Through the Oracle?
Mm-hmm. I guess we got it through her message for aid.
Yeah.
You know, I guess our little dragon friend just CCs everyone.
Yeah. I think Randall will just go, we were in the area. Gives Graham and Talia like a sideways look.
That is fortunate. The situation is a strange one, although I would rather not discuss the details out in the open.
And let us not waste time. Time is precious and we have so little. This mortal coil, I feel it as a yoke upon me. We must act. We're all dying as we stand here.
Randall quirks his head and it's like, you've got hundreds of years if you're not immortal.
He sort of frowns looking at Hirandor. Every breath we stand still is lost.
Lon frowns a bit as he nods. Yes, time is precious indeed. Let us hurry
Graham
to the
follows
attack
him,
then.
even if he doesn't move. Because he's big enough now that Melon will have to move.
Yeah?
If Graham just continues going after him.
Like, move or you will get run over.
Yes, Malone orders his people around. He'll lead you down the central highway as he continues talking. The precautions you see are merely that, precautions. There's been no incident so far, but Gavir does believe that something may happen very soon.
We were called here as a precaution.
Not exactly. There's something you'll have to see. As I've said, the details are sensitive. Let's see. Speeds up a step and continues leading you.
Has the two great Tannenim's feet.
Frowns at this city, this blight of bureaucracy. Everything takes so long.
Copy your tokens, and let's go to the Grand Castle map.
Are we meant to be able to see any stats on Graham yet?
Oh, I have no clue.
Because,
I can see everything.
yeah, I think your ownership's probably still,
Oh,
like, just to you.
yeah. That's possible.
'Cause I was just curious if anything changed, is all.
Oh, like his stats?
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't see it. So,
Oh, well, okay.
you know, I only know so much.
Give me just a moment here. While I find where Gavir has gone off to. He's gone.
Sidigavia.
There you are.
Time like
Explorer.
this.
Best friend.
He's like, I was exploring the sewers alone. I thought that would be great. Who could ever kidnap me there? You're like, oh.
Right. Let's go here.
Good throwback.
Corridor. Which way are we coming from?
You're coming from the west.
How did you know we were going to attack him?
Oh, hey, Gavir.
Yes, skipping ahead a little bit, as you will first be led into the palace, into Gavir's private rooms, where he is not very talkative, somewhat unlike him, and simply suggests that you follow him. There is something you need to see. As he will lead you through the massive door in front of which you have fought before, the door to the inner sanctum of the palace, as well as the way down to the dungeons towards which he leads you. He's deflecting questions, and his demeanor is rather serious as he leads you down the winding ramp into the inner belly of Grand Castle. The ramp quickly opening up into the hollow dome that is Grand Castle's basement, a few hundred meters across, with many, many different chambers at its edges, most of which are prisons, others storage, again others offices. Gavir doesn't explain much, but he does say pretty much what I just told you. These are Grand Castle's dungeons. In the lower levels, there is really the scum of whatever has ever graced Grand Castle, locked up in there. And as much as the chambers have been rather empty these past few years, there's a new addition that you have to see.
Does he seem excited?
He seems worried, very much so.
Oh, God.
Graham frowns.
Yeah.
Says, I hope this is important. Business has never been more pressing.
I believe that this is the most important thing that has happened in recent years, at least. It is certainly.
Frowns. You're
Durandal
saying
looks
quite a
himself up
bit.
and down, turns, looks at Graham up and down, turns to Gavir and goes,
King died,
really?
Wilderhead died. Like big demon
It is-
monster things coming. Elf King got broken and fallen.
Yeah.
It is certainly the most worrying thing that has happened in my reign so far.
Oh, that's quite short.
Really
That's
just
quite
to
a bit
bail
short.
you out then.
Are you negging his
not-
size? That's a quite short reign.
Not exactly bail me out. The situation is under control. I would like your opinion on this matter. Size a bit.
Okay. Graham seems like this. He should ask his opinion. Yeah.
The crypticism is worrying me. Though.
She's like a whole metropolis down here. Oh,
As
My
leads
stamp
you-
collection is finally complete. Yes. What do you think?
look at it.
Like, oh,
down the path. And
It's lost many lives, but
towards a set of prisons.
is gonna be his wife in there? It's like
Ha!
falling out.
she
Gotta
tried to
deal with it.
murder me.
Swear to
Biggest
God, if
event
it
that
is,
happened
he's,
Yes.
Do you
he's
know
gonna
how
be
many
fucking
citizens she has eaten and like tortured to death?
realize how big of an issue that would be.
She ate people? Yeah.
But she's a genocidal maniac.
God.
It's like I had to keep myself slim. I mean, all this
Yes.
fish and stuff.
I need to keep myself young and fit, so I bathe in the blood of maidens. It's like, oh, well,
It's
The two-
fatal.
The two prisons, each with rather significantly sized iron bars, both as a divider between the two, and as the gate. Gavir leading you straight to the second one, pretty much ignoring the one he passes, revealing two inhabitants. The one that Gavir
Huh.
stops in front is the second one, a horned humanoid, unlike anything that really lives on the island. It smiles a smug smile, standing with its hands behind its back, as if simply waiting on someone.
Looks to Gavir. Looks to in the cell says, Jax.
Gavir blinks, looking towards, Jax. Oh, you know him? I wasn't aware of that. He tried, and successfully so, to poison me. Of course, the result is probably not what the criminal expected, however, he was seen doing it and awaits trial. However, his
And
case
Mr.
is low
Jax!
priority.
Jax, is this true? Did you poison him?
Jax looks a bit flustered, shaking his head with much emphasis as he says, I didn't do it. I don't know who they saw, but it was not me.
that seems
And
legit.
what is this prison made of?
It is iron bars, thick
Can
enough
I-
that even Hirando and you would have problems.
But combined.
He looks to Kavir and says, "Open this gate. This is a preposterous mistake."
Gavir pauses slightly. Did I mention the thing about the most important thing in recent years?
I
which is-
understand, and I understand now. Let's get this
Which-
mistake handled. Then we can deal with whatever your business is. I think that is only fair.
If you have objections to a prisoner's presence here, there are protocols to be followed, Graham.
I care not for those.
Kavir frowns. I, however, do, and this was already.
Graham frowns says, I suppose we can go spend time on the protocols, but I thought you had rather pressing matters. I'm sure there's a
Yes.
protocol for handling some things fast. You can get to the important stuff, no?
It is very, very difficult, Graham. My father would have been able to just free this criminal, no problem. However, he has a reputation to use for that purpose. If I start making arbitrary decisions, my reign will be a short one indeed. And I am trying to help you here, Graham. Just let me, all right?
Me.
I don't know what happened to you, or if you are even... But that's not important. Just listen until you make a scene, all right?
Orson says, "You will have 2 minutes." She looks to the iron bars, gauging their strength.
Give in nods. This horned creature here, and I do not mean the Tananim, calls himself the Messenger, who has brought me the suggestion to surrender to a soon-to-arrive force that will not be able to be defeated. He suggests that if I do, his masters would be more lenient with our usage, and that it would be better for everyone involved.
Randall looks to Graham and says, I do think that this is a big event that trumps quite a few things.
He nods, and I can't believe he just leaves him in there.
I mean, it's Jax.
Randall
Look at
just
him.
looks at Graham, looks back at Gavir.
He has an egg and a wife at home.
The egg might be hatched at this point.
Yeah, Jax does not. Oh, yes, Graham, but they are fine. You need not worry. It is also a boy, if you can.
So, what's his name?
Oh,
Have you
God.
named him yet?
Graham. I will help you deal with Jax.
The name is Graham Jr.
Graham.
Grammerkin.
I will help you with Jax, but there is a messenger from the great evil that all of your people and yourself included ran from, and all of the following events that has led to you becoming you.
Yes. How is that of any importance? He's an enemy. There's nothing to discuss here.
He may have information we can
seriously thinking of. So sick of here. A little disgusted look on his face, judging him for considering taking this man's deal.
Not so sad. I did not even for a moment consider anything. I locked him up here so you could take a look before I wanted to decide whatever appropriate would be to deal with.
Personally, I'm fine with torture for information, then kill. But
the great platinum.
That's just because I'm not too fond of the harbinger of death and destruction that he is the messenger of.
Move close and look at him, sort of sniff him, say, "What are you?"
The man, still with his shoulders high and spine straight, says, "I am the messenger of your impending doom. I offer an easy way and a hard way. Either way, my fate does not matter." The masters will claim this world as the breeding ground for their young, as they have done with so many different places. You can perish, or you can do as we have and serve, and let your kind continue.
What are the masters?
They are beings of unimaginable power, living in between the stars. They have seen this world from afar when the humans who arrived here have led them to it. A fertile land they can exploit for their purposes. It is only a matter of time until they win. Resisting merely extends your torture.
And if we join them, we will be sent around like you have.
Yes, you would continue. You would thrive.
You don't look to be thriving right now.
Oh, I'm alive for the moment. I would not be had my kind not agreed. We've done many great things since then, and will continue to do so. Our last failure was a mere setback that we would not like to repeat. Hence why we approach you with open arms and a lack of actual arms, of which we have many.
He just looks at him, frowns slightly, and says, I do not care how many arms you have. Can you return to your place of origin?
I am not obliged to return. I would be happy if my existence continued, as would all of my kind in every situation. However, I am willing to sacrifice whatever it takes if you require.
Just, can you return?
Well, I cannot bend open these bars, I can assure you that.
How would you return then, if you did not have the bars stopping you?
I would likely join up with more of my kinsmen.
They are here, then?
Oh yes, they have been among you for quite some time at this point.
How were you chosen for this?
I volunteered.
And what would you earn from this?
It is a great honor to deliver more souls to our masters who are willing to cooperate. Even if I know the chance is slim, I would like to be the one who successfully conquers a land without spilling blood.
How long may we have to consider your offer?
You have as much time as you need, but perhaps not as much time as you'd like.
He shrugs. Very well, you've said what you need. It's a gesture for the others to come over here to talk, perhaps, like away from the prisoner. Because we never received a messenger. Not that I know of, at least. Then again, I don't know why I would have known of it.
I know for a fact that a similar messenger has arrived in Crimson Peak. However, he has not been imprisoned.
I wonder if a similar messenger has reached the other cities.
I have no information about Respite, and the Free City has not been as cooperative as I'd have liked these days. However, the Free City is splintered. It is difficult to have proper communication channels with them. Give you a size. I know not of Grimskull, although I do not think we risk them accepting any such offer.
I would say let him go.
Give you a raise an eyebrow. Why exactly would we do that?
He's a single being. He can do little harm by himself. Letting him go will perhaps lead you to more of his kind.
And by Gavir, you mean us, naturally.
What?
And by Gavir, you mean we will follow him.
No,
or we will go to wherever his friends are.
Shrugs and says, I don't think these slaves are the true danger.
They
Keep
might
track
not
of
be
them so we
the
can learn what we can, but
they might not be the true danger, but they will be the foot soldiers from the sounds of it.
Nance.
I agree with your methods, however. He pauses. My sister does have much on her plate these days, however, this might just be the thing that she would enjoy doing, as well as is good at doing. Following someone, that is. You two, I have to admit, are not exactly subtle. And I also have to ask, now that I think about it, what happened? He stares at Graham for the first time.
We destroyed the Doom forever, but in doing so, I made a deal with the lady to protect this land. My form has changed as was required by her.
He stares for longer.
At this point, I understand that little of what we do should any longer surprise you.
Yes. So, I suppose let us continue thinking about the matter at hand.
Yes, I will expect him to be out in. Looks around us. Do you have the keys with you?
I do not.
Then perhaps half an hour or so.
Gavir frowns for a mere moment.
Says, you can trust me on that matter at least.
Oh,
Jax is innocent of what you claim him to be. If that is truly Jax, that is.
it is not so much a matter of trust with all of you, Graham. I do trust you, otherwise I would have refused to aid you a long, long time ago. But you put me in many predicaments that I do not believe you are aware of.
Perhaps.
Shucks, and you handle them all excellently. So let us both do what we do and get on with it.
Perhaps we can come to a compromise. Perhaps Jax was wanted by the Radiant Spire, and I gave you something in return. You know, politically that would look better for you, Gavir. If I took a prisoner off your hands, what I do afterwards needn't concern you.
Gavir turns towards Hirandor, staring at him instead. You suggest to produce a convenient yet efficient lie, yes?
Correct.
He shakes his head slightly. You certainly are no Silver anymore, Hirandor. And in this case, I think that is a good thing. But the thing with Jax is you say that he is innocent, yet he has been seen in my chambers by multiple reliable sources.
Shucks and says, in the north, we have a way of dealing with these demands, these insults to my honor. We can meet in the ring, do battle, to see whose honor is greater and who has the right. The gods will not let the wrongdoer succeed. If that is what his freedom requires, then that is what we will do. However, I imagine that your politics would suffer should that be seen by the public.
Gavir frowns again, this time slightly more angrily, as he says, all right, I'll have him released. You can take him, no questions asked. We will not make up any lies, we will simply state the truth in this matter. As for the more important creature in the other cage, he too will be let go and followed.
Perhaps tell them that the release of Jax was my price for my aid and advice.
As for you, Graham, I would request that you do not return to Grand Castle.
Frowns, says, well, we shall see what is necessary in the future.
We shall, yes. Now, if you would like to leave or strike me dead, please do so.
I think the former will be more appropriate.
Oh, I don't know anymore these days.
So says, he still seems as he's going to say something, and then just sort of shakes his head slightly and says, if there is anything else you need, you should be able to contact us.
Gavir nods. Please head towards the gate as soon as you're able. The prisoner will be brought to you, and you may do as you wish.
Not satisfied. So leave.
Hirandor will look to Gavir and say, I think I'll take a detour towards Sintara, just to pop in and say hello. Then I'll be going. We have Concerns to deal with.
Gavir nods.
As Theodore proceeds to eat Gavir.
Yeah, when suddenly,
Everyone would think it was Graham.
yeah, I shall succeed all the thrones.
Yeah, in his head, there's the voice of his mother. Yes, integrate him into the community. He shall join us as his father before him.
This really puts a whole new spin on the campaign.
Does,
You're
yeah.
just puking like doom into people.
And as you're on the lease, Gavir will hurry up to rejoin him and say, "While my sister will do the following and the tracking, I will tell her to stay in contact with you. I have a feeling that you should be there to respond quickly if she should actually find something."
Randall nods and says, we have our ways of getting to places quickly nowadays. Send messages to the Radiant Spire. I believe that will be our next destination. Hanrikin should already be there.
Gavir nods. And goes to fetch some of the guards wandering around, heading back towards the two prisons. Outside, nearing the gate of Grand Castle, a little while later, an hour, maybe two, Gavir's promise is fulfilled as, escorted by guards, Gavir will be brought to you and pretty much shoved out of the city doors.
Gavir is brought to us and shoved out the city doors.
No, not Gavir, sorry,
And
Jax.
Jax.
This is a coup. Jackson is now in
Graham
control.
will as we leave, ask for the full story of well, what is that all about?
Yeah. That requires some explanation now.
Jax sighs a bit. Says, "Well, that's going to take some context, I feel. I did tell you last time we met here in Grand Castle, even that me and Eisenbell have found accommodations back in Myerton. And while that may sound terrible, it really wasn't. We've found someone who supports us and helps, well, mostly her, really, while I do courier jobs. You see, my position as ex-Wilder and now this is very beneficial because I have perspectives and such. And so I deliver..." He sighs. "I'm a courier for oil, okay? But you see, I only deliver to those who know what they're getting into, and the architect was one of those customers. So I took over the delivery of oil to Grand Castle."
Faces an eyebrow. Gavir is a user.
No, not Gavir. I do not know what he does with it, but I wouldn't think so. He doesn't show the signs, you know? But I know for a fact that his father was. The deliveries were never cancelled, so I figured he'd found some alternate use. I've made sure that he is aware of the dangers. It's supposed to be a herbal remedy of sorts, medicine, if you distill it correctly.
Graham nods slowly, not believing that this. You've gotten in with some bad business, Jax.
It's the best of the bad business, all right?
Just how much do you need?
Need what?
What are they paying you for this?
It's not the payment. It's the position, the safety, the life. You could pay me all the money you like, but it's not going to solve all my problems. I'm very grateful for that money you sent to recapture my son, but I've learned there that money doesn't solve all my problems, you see.
What other problems do you have?
I don't have any problems other than being stuck in a prison, Graham.
And just, well, I suppose that makes us even.
Randall look to Jackson and say, "You realize that I do have many positions available in the Radiant Spire. You are a friend of friends."
That may be true, but Eisenbell continues to require a supply of oil. It is unfortunate, but it works out. You need not worry. You just need to let me go.
Just tell your employer, if he is who I think it is, that, well, that I might consider finishing what he asked us to start.
I will deliver him such a message if you like.
Smile at him and say, we always meet in the strangest of circumstances. But truly, knowing that I can help a friend is it's a good thing.
Jax nods. Thank you, even if you... Well, it will take some time getting used to all of you. Again.
You know, Grimnon just, escorts him, make sure he gets out of the city and such. It's just fine. He doesn't think Givia would be stupid enough to fucking capture him again. Because come on, really? Jax of all people? For minor drug trafficking?
Minor drug trafficking.
Surely you can overlook that sort of thing.
He said it was poisoning.
Well, that's what he said because the guy was like, your father ordered these drugs. And he was like, my father did not order drugs. You're here to poison me. Scandalous. Scandalous. That would have taken months to sort out.
All right. Well, have a safe trip, Jax, I guess.
Thank you. And after being escorted, he'll be on his way.
Wonderful.
Now, we're just going off to the Radiant Spire?
I have to meet Enric.
Yeah. So, I guess onwards.
Right, we'll do that then. At this point, I'd like to ask you a question. The session has been rather slow, which isn't a bad thing. I need to know for further planning whether we would like to maybe go a bit longer today, or whether we'd like to play next week rather than in 2 weeks, or what your thoughts in general are. Because there are some things that we should do rather soon, so we don't have only slow bits.
I can play next week.
I'd like next week too.
Like to next week.
Yeah. Let's do it next week. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, for now, let's finish up then and continue a bit. So you wish to travel to Hirundor City. So on the world map, you can just make your way over there.
Yeah.
Enrican will have arrived significantly before any of you get there.
Yeah.
He's stealing all of the stuff. Stop him.
Come, he sits on the throne.
Yes.
Yeah,
Welcome.
to the doom.
Welcome to my castle. When Anrican had arrived at Radiant Spire, he would have sent out messages, letters to all the icons, basically informing them that the Doom has been destroyed.
Okay.
And yeah,
Sure, it's been destroyed.
not writing it out, but maybe between the lines that you're welcome. You know,
basically very subtle gloating rates.
Yeah, it's like we
Yeah.
did what none of you could, so here we are.
I'm sure Warwick could write something really good up.
Oh yes, Warwick is stationed here.
Yeah.
Isn't he basically our secretary?
He is
Yeah.
Secretary Warwick. I
look
shall,
forward to
I love him.
I shall dictate a letter, Warwick. And he's like, oh, well, fine. Dips his
Yeah, well,
claw.
Like, oh, for fuck's sake.
telling Enrikin about the preposterous thing and Jax has been imprisoned on poisoning charges. I mean, come on. Jax poisoning?
As you
Yes.
as you enter the spire, Anakin will be in there, probably in the special quarter built for him and Graham.
Is it ice cold?
It's the one with the balcony overlooking the vast vistas of the mountain.
Yeah. Oh, the one in the spire
Yep.
itself. Yeah. Okay. We'll have to convert Graham's room. Actually, you could probably get into the room next door that's Tananim sized. So we'll just build a balcony. That'll be easier.
Big tenement and balcony, like
Yeah.
I'll get out my construction magic.
it's more of a
That's why you're the High Magister.
You have me to construct your
And
building.
High
for you.
Priest.
Yeah,
I'm
High
also
Priest,
High
High
Priest.
Magister, High
There's
Architect.
no division of power here anymore.
You know, I enjoy my consolidation of power.
Yeah, the Radiant Spire is certainly arbitrary, if nothing else.
certainly is.
Well,
No bureaucracy
know,
here.
we didn't start off as a village, so
Yeah. Anakin will
Takes
be
a while to
maybe
fill
maybe
in
you will
seats.
fit. When you approach, he will wait for you in the conference room or something. And he will sit. He'll have a chair like he has dragged to the window where he has sat himself down. For a few days. You don't know. Scythe leaned against
There's
the.
dust building up on him.
No, but and there's like air of smoke around him, and maybe like that smoke is oddly more dark, and like there's like a nimbus of darkness around him, like tendrils, like the shadows sort of flicker and bend, and as he sits there, probably in fairly dark thoughts, looking out over the place.
well, I guess Arundel will go take his seat. And
As you walk in, Anakin would have perked up. Looked over to you.
Meanwhile, then Talia walks in, glowing with radiant light against your
Yeah.
darkness.
Anakin will get up and says, I have taken the liberty of sending letters to all of the icons, informing them that Doom is destroyed.
Arundel kind of raises an eyebrow and says, "Did you get Warwick to at least proofread it? You like to gloat, after all."
Damn.
Anakin frowns deeply and says, yes, Warwick did take the writing, I believe.
Given the current circumstance, some pride would be precedented.
We have done something that no one else could. Something they tried to do, but failed. We did it.
Arundel nods and says, "Yes, we have finally done what everyone has said is the impossible. Now we have to do what an entire other continent has said is impossible."
It's only one step more.
There...
Arundel smiles at that. Says, "Yes, I suppose it is."
If you get any bigger, you're going to just eat the entire enemy.
Hey.
Anakin will, while they're bantering, Anakin will sort of move towards Graham and sort of nod him like, follow me into this corner.
Sure, he'll do so. He will cover the corner.
I spoke to Emelisynth in Sterling Hold, and your people are gone from the forge. A brilliant light descended from the heavens, and so they were free. Where they are gone, I do not know.
I have learned much in my time now, traveling here. We have passed through some lands, some seas. My people, our people, they're still here. Just, he sort of looks around and says, Not as we would expect them. I have changed, and they seem to have done an equal change. This Edeling, well, the souls of the Edelings, they are still with me. I can call upon them, but when I do not, they are the rivers, they are the trees, they are the icy plains, the wind over the mountains. They are the eroded sides of seabeds. They are the crystals far below the gorge. They are the sands of the desert, the mountains of the great worm spine. That is what we have become. We are the land made manifest.
Arnigan nods, looks him up and down, and says, "Quite a change."
He nods. I can feel their happiness, their emotions. Some are afraid, some are angry, some are happy, but they can feel, Anrikin. They can act. They can move. They are elemental in nature now, but they are independent and free, and I will protect their existence with everything I am.
Which is what exactly?
He looks at himself and says, I am a guardian of the island. Of it, especially, the land, especially.
Grunts looking
I'm a
up and
protector of my people, who are the land now. I am much changed in what I can do, but not in what I'm going to do.
I would agree. You seem to have indeed become all that you were not. Instead of an
Nods.
emissary and a herald of the dead, you are life incarnate.
He nods. It was the price.
Some would say that it was a blessing.
He looks aside and say, of that I am not yet sure. It is a burden. Before we could always leave, Henrikin. We could always, if we were losing, we could always do the next continent. We had the time, we had the power. We would not fail a third time, but now there is no leaving. I do not know that I could.
Henrikin looks unhappy, but he will not comment further on the eternal prison this has become for Graham. And
Yeah, it. If that isn't the price, then
that has left some of the plans we drew up also in shambles. And I would ask you then, old friend, do you think that those plans are still worth pursuing?
says, I do not believe my current form could properly enter
No.
our own core.
No.
Nor do I believe that the power I've been given is fit for it. You were always, however, the brains of our operation. Looks to Enrique smiling slightly. My form, he sort of looks at himself, a little puzzled, loath to say this. It is as if this body does not want to acknowledge others being on my level, but you were always the smarter one.
Enrique looks out the window slightly and says, I ask you this because I find myself in a lonely corner. I do not have allies in the same way that I once did, it seems. Not to say that we are enemies, but you serve a different master now.
He shrugs and says, I do not serve the lady, if that is what you think. I am bound by no god now. My own gone from both me and my people, forgotten and thereby once again dead. What I am bound to is the land. That is what she is sufficient in doing. I have thought of it now, given some time. I think perhaps I shall take my turn in the growing wilderness. Says, my people are strong there. I hear many of their voices coming from the land that is untouched. I think perhaps there I could build a stronghold, a position of strength. I have no intention of breaking our alliance nor our friendship.
He nods. That is good to know.
We will help each other. For one thing the lady said still resonates with me, and that is that there must be balance, that there must not be left a vacancy, that the dread is necessary.
He looks out again.
Something
Thoughtful.
will fill that position, and I think I would rather have the dread than anything else.
In that case, I will try to proceed with this ambition and see where it takes us. It is somewhat set back, but there are certain things that need to be investigated as part of the Doom's disappearance.
I was always more of a bodyguard than I was a thinker, like you. However, if you require my aid, you need but ask.
He nods.
I hope that I can still rely on you the same way as before.
Aye, the bond holds.
Nods and reaches like a claw.
Adricud looks at the claw like, doesn't really know how to, like... I mean,
Graham also sort of looks a little, it doesn't really know how to shake hands now.
No.
Because his hands are so fucking big.
It's like, even if I reached out, I imagine like I couldn't even like grip around the claw. Like, maybe the pointiest bit of it. Alright.
Claws is quite something.
At that point, the bond's reaffirmed. Nods and brotherly smiles exchanged. And we can
turn around.
We'll turn around to Hirandor.
He'll also say, just as we turn around, and if you need a ride somewhere.
Thank you. There is a limit to how many times I can walk the plains. He will walk forward, and I imagine he turns around walking forward, the scythe thumping, as he walks up to Hirandor.
Hirandor just kind of looks at him. As he's
it's time for evil vizier voice.
Great.
My lord. No.
Worm tongue.
Yeah. No. Anakin will look at him and says, "Well, in the aftermath of what we did, there are certain questions that I am curious about. Especially now that I am the only living dead in our group, it seems to sort of fall into my purview a little bit. I am curious of the Dread's influence and exactly what happened to it now that it is gone. Many of the undead have... the Guardians have left Sterlinghold, crumbled to dust or gone, or I know not. They were bound, as far as I know, by the will of the Great Silver. When she's gone, they crumble. The question is what happened to the influence of the Doom. And you, Hirandor, are the closest thing I know to something that has not only fought the Doom, but also actually ingested it. I would like to study you a little bit, if you would allow me."
Hirandor just kind of looks at Anrikin for an uncomfortable minute maybe, and says, I'm not sure how much you would learn from observing, Anrican.
This would more be medical tests than alchemical experiments. I would not require you to be in a lab with me if you permit me to take some samples.
He narrows his eyes and says, samples are very powerful.
Looks at him and says, the influence of the doom must be investigated, if it is truly gone or not. You are the closest thing I have to test that and make it easy for me. I could go into the growling wilderness and hunt down the Wilderhead. I doubt he would be very cooperative, and I might have to destroy him. This would be easier for all of us, I think.
Hirondor, and Hirondor. He is still our ally.
He looks over and
I'm
says,
aware.
yes, and I do know that you do not really approve of the methods or the magic I wield, but I believe that this is something we need to investigate. If there is some doom still in you, I don't know if that could be used as an anchor or a way for the doom to manifest again, looking over to Graham, since we do not know exactly how it was destroyed. But any such eventuality must be investigated, I believe.
If it is with such an idea in mind, I believe the best way for us to do this would be, well, there is no reason for you to do this alone, Anrican.
Looks over to Talia. I once had quite a close affinity with the Doom. Something that I feel
that is true.
Somewhat diminished. I cannot, in good conscience, stop you from observing or helping me with these experiments, but for them to be proper, I would like to take my time and be thorough.
I am not requesting to rush you here. Simply my thought is, you have a very sharp, one of the best, I would say, academic minds for this kind of work. But equally, I have spent much time studying along with your work, and you know yourself that my understanding is also quite strong. It can't hurt to have us both trying to figure out what happened.
Looks over to her. Seems to mull it over. And then he says, well, if that is your prize.
And I'll take a deep breath in and say, fine, but in the interest of my own longevity, we'll keep the surplus of samples at a minimum.
Nods. That is fine.
Okay. We can... I'll let you do this, Anrican.
Brings out his old, like, surgeon, suitcase.
Just remember, if you were not my friend, I would have, bitten you in half.
He smiles.
I must say, it's been a while since I've done anything like this as well.
You would have tried.
Yes, that is not what Anrican says, but...
Well, if it was any normal human with, like, just some wizard, then, it'd be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway.
Well, in that case, Anrican will take samples from Hirondor, samples that he would believe would be useful for the study, and also samples that he would imagine he discussed with Melisandre before he left.
And we'll add, as you're taking them, I would also like the findings of your studies.
He nods. Certainly.
It's only the fair thing here.
I shall have them carefully written down and sent to you. I'll bring them myself when I come here next.
He nods.
All right. I think we'll almost stop the session here as we're approaching midnight.
But wait, there's more.
The doom is back! Run!
As I think we'll do like a bit of a time skip here, unless you have something specific you wish to do. About 2 weeks. After which, you will be informed that Gavir has followed your suggestion of letting this messenger, as he calls himself, go, who, contrary to what Gavir thought he would do, didn't seem to really care that he was being followed. As he went straight east, and as far as Gavir is aware, is heading to Respite.
Fucking knew it. A place you'd be burned to the ground.
Let's be honest. I don't think this surprises any of us.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah, those dragons are total traitors.
You might
Guess what
have to
place-
pay a visit.
Guess what
They,
place
they were
probably
like, oh no, we can seek the Cthulian power. Surely, whatever price is less than we would otherwise have to pay.
you can easily see it here in the chart. It's like no, 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 and they're the only person on the map who said yes to the deal.
Yeah.
And we all knew it.
I think we'll just have to go and have a chat.
You look at them and you're like, okay, who would be most likely to take this deal? Well, of course. Of course the fucking blue cowards.
We want our freedom. Let us be enslaved by the dimensional horrors. There you go. Well,
Yeah.
that's a fucking great idea. Yeah, no, we'll go teach him a lesson.
Yeah, we'll show up at their door.
With fire and sword.
Mm-hmm. Can do.
Nice.
I may bring along a holy.
Technically, we have no
map-
swords anymore.
Yeah, we don't have swords.
Fire and scythe, I guess.
Fire and ice.
Ice and fire.
Ice and fire.
Oh no.
A magic of ice and fire.
But Atalia was evil all along. She killed us in our sleep. Anticlimactic, but you know, that's ice and fire
Sorry.
for you.
Oh, sorry.
But we
Graham,
come back to life.
I'm sorry, Graham. I can't let you know about that.
But Talia, no.
Instead of a Dark Lord, they shall have a queen. Terrible. Like... Yeah.
All right. Never session without combat.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do not think that next session will have no combat.
Okay.
We tend
Unless-
to not be subtle, as you said.
Unless you want to avoid combat.
We're gonna parlay with the blue dragons.
No, we come there now. It's like, I took the deal. I'm out.
What?
You figure this out.
We're like, whoa.
Well, the Dread is totally serving the Dark Lord. I mean,
Yeah. How do you think I get my horrible power?
Yeah.
Murder.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a guarantee anyway.
you know, all these cities that are blighting the land of Grimm's people. We don't really need them.
So he's become an eco-terrorist.
He's become a wilder. The one thing he's hated.
Ha ha! Oh, the twist of fate.
But he's different from the other wilders.
Uh-huh.
You keep telling yourself that, buddy.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, he's stronger.
Well, yeah. There's quite a few big guys out there.
And he's also very good at fighting wilders, so...
Yeah, that's true.
I still can't see stats, so I have no idea what actually happened.
Yeah, no, we have
Right,
no idea.
Let's reveal that then. I forgot about that. There you go. That should allow me to take it. To
Fucking hell,
address
look at-
address him with their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Look at those defensive stats.
Mhm.
No one's ever going to touch you. They're just
No.
not. They're
No.
just going to look at those stats and go,
So are you still the same class, or did you change class as
No,
well?
no. Class is completely different as well.
oh.
So what class are you?
I am a Druid Ranger.
Okay.
Sure,
That
That
right.
is
Nice.
certainly very different.
Ranger
Very
replacing
different.
Paladin and Druid replacing the Necromancer.
Wow.
Going for the same sort of focus. Bit of summoning, though I certainly do a lot less of it now. And then, yeah, fightiness, support mainly. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it'll do, because I don't know.
Well, we'll probably see next week.
Oh my!
Yeah.
After next week, we'll probably go back to every 2 weeks again. But we'll see.
All right.
Sure.
Mhm.
I feel like we're still waiting for some grand reveal or something.
I mean, that's pretty grand.
Well, no, I mean, like, I feel like we're still waiting for Sheep to go. Okay, so, you know,
Well, I mean, that's going to happen when this invasion force arrives, right?
Well,
Like it's the
yeah.
Burning Legion raining from the sky and all that.
I mean, just to finish this session. Like,
Oh.
I feel like.
Oh, this session? No, that's as much of a reveal as I
Okay.
can give you. Unless you have
We
relationship.
learned that
ties to
there's
spend.
slave races like XCOM style
I
invaders
don't
coming
see.
Mhm.
in their starship.
I mean, it's tieflings, so either like yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that Burning Legion style? I feel
Yes,
like
yeah,
they
that's
said,
sort-
they
that's
said
sort
they
of
came
what
from
I'm-
other
Basically.
worlds. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's sort of. It's going to be a space fleet coming in.
Yeah.
If you have relationship dice to spend, you may attempt to answer such questions if you can think of a justification, as well as collect more information, of course, in general.
that's where. Oh, you didn't know when I talked about the darkness taking land. It was really spaceships. I thought that was implied.
Yeah, I don't think I got.
That's why sheep's space
Eh.
equipment, laser guns, and
I mean, we go in space here, right? Space dragons. You'll sail the stars.
spell jamming.
Yeah, spell jamming.
Yeah.
The spell jammiest.
I mean, I'm excited to see what the big Dark Lords look like. That's the most important part, really. Like, what kind of strange design could Sheep make up? Because it's going to be something that surprises us, right? That's the whole idea about it. But how can it surprise us when we've seen so much in these fantasy games? Like, you could go like opposite and be like, oh, they're pink bunny people. But you know what? That wouldn't really be surprising now because we kind of think that would be what would be surprising. So.
I mean, I imagine it's going to be some Cthulhian.
A black dragon thing.
No, some Cthulhian star creature.
Space gnomes.
It's
Really notice
actually
is the methodology of this campaign. The theme is attempting to fight the inevitable, and really we just go insane as soon as you see them.
I mean, the campaign
I
has
think
had a Cthulhian theme running through it for quite some time.
This is where we find out it's actually Zacharias.
Yes. Yes, come. It's like, yes.
Yeah. He's found.
Reach to other worlds, kill the gods.
Destroy them all.
He can't hurt you.
No, no, it's true. He's not under the direct control of the Doom. Oh,
I reckon
went
he
for
probably
it.
have some workaround though. Come on.
Finally began realizing what the platinum aura is too. Like what the compulsion is.
Yeah.
Gain power by any means. Yeah.
maximum power.
Yeah. You know,
Not exactly.
Is Graham
Yeah.
gold or what is he?
Yeah,
it's
gold. Sort of strange gold, but still gold. I have the gold compulsion
Mm-hmm.
to be arrogant whenever possible. Or to think that I know better than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So here and there is power at any price. And,
Slytherin.
No,
yeah,
not
House
Hog-
Slytherin. And well,
I mean, Talia is definitely Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Oh.
who's Hufflepuff?
I mean, me, clearly. Look at me.
Gavir.
Enrique is. When you really picture that thing with it, you could pick him with a badger scarf. You know,
Yeah. I have a scythe. I'm like gardening already.
you know the reaping, the harvest.
Yeah, the reaping of the
Yeah.
harvest. That's totally Hufflepuff. The
That
dark
leaves me
side
as the
of
brave,
Hufflepuff.
brave Gryffindor. My golden claw, my splendor, my slight upturned nose and arrogance at
Yes,
me being the most brave one.
yes. You do
Oh,
that.
Hirando won the year cup. Well, I guess in the last nick of time, the rector will just make us win.
You do that thing that Trump did on the NATO meeting, like you elbow people in the ribs to get to
Oh,
the front of the
excuse me.
group. Like, excuse me here. Yep.
God.
That's,
Graham's not a child.
well,
Not a big
okay.
baby.
No, it's true. It's true. He's not a big baby. Like some people.
Yeah. And he doesn't have baby hands either. So.
We don't usually get political here, but
sometimes.
I don't. This is not politics at this point, is it? Like, really?
It's just being rude.
I don't think it's about politics. It's just decent general behavior.
So yeah, Slytherin, Gryffindor. Yeah, we have everything covered.
Now,
Everything's-
Hirando, where is that giant monster snake in this temple spire thing you built?
Yeah,
Put a secret room. A giant snake.
it's a huge face that vomits out a huge basilisk. Like, oh,
You're like, wow.
why did you make that? It's like, well, I've just thought of it. It's pretty cool.
But it's a school, Hirando. He's like, whatever. They need a giant snake that can vomit. A
Yeah,
giant face that
maybe.
vomits.
There needs to be some mystery here.
No,
Ah, God. All right.
too British. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go to bed. I'm guessing no incremental advance.
No.
I would have liked one as well. You know, what can you do?
That level 10 stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the level 10 stat increase that I want to get.
Yeah.
Plus
So
one
nice.
charisma mod and con mod and strength mod.
I'd go with strength, con, and well, dexterity, intelligence, I guess. So there's no unevens, but neither of those really matter a whole lot. So
Definitely.
Oh, my
intelligence.
three stats that I actually care about go up by one. They're all odds at the moment.
strength and con are things.
Yeah.
Actually, won't change that much. So my physical defense by 1, that damage. A
Yeah.
bit of HP, I guess, but
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
We won't do relationship dice either because, well, you still have those from last time and none of them were used, so we might as well stick to them.
I don't. Well, I have a 5 with the enemy.
I don't
That's
think
what
I
I
do.
got.
I don't think I have any. No. I think I rolled it. I think I rolled so poorly I didn't get anything.
Probably fine.
Fuck
People
it
still
then.
play.
Just roll new dice for next session. Then.
Alright. Oh, I need to modify this because
6 for the year. That is a wrong relationship dice,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
different.
those don't look right.
Not at all. Not at all. Some people reacted badly to what's happened. And some was like, yeah, behind this is kind of what we like.
The Jarl is super happy with us right now.
You know,
Just
he
throwing
has
sixes
always
around.
been there. He's been a good guy.
He has, yeah.
And like, yeah,
He's gonna be so heartbroken though.
I'll click my heels.
That Graham's now. Converted.
He's a cool guy.
God, architect.
All right. On that note,
there we go.
Yep.
Well, that's super shit.
I'm gonna go to bed. 'Cause I'm very tired. I'll see most of you tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. See ya.
Yeah.
Save the campaign then, and I'm going to grab some food.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end the stream here then. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you tomorrow for some Shadowrun. Good night.
Yeah. Good night.